2023 respectively, His Excellency the President declared one vacancy for the position of Chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and 6 vacancies for the position of member of the IEBC, and further aware that by Gazette number 715 of 27th of January 2025, His Excellency the President appointed members of the selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for the appointment as chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, noting, Mr. Speaker, that upon its appointment, the selection panel commenced the recruitment process and long-listed all the applicants and subsequently short-listed qualified applicants for the positions of chairperson and member of the IEBC. Further, noting that paragraph 6.1 of the first schedule to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act, Cap 7C, provides that the selection panel shall finalize the recruitment exercise within 90 days of its appointment and forward those names of the nominees to the President, and conscious that the selection panel is currently undertaking the interviews of the shortlisted candidates for the positions of chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and that given the interview schedule of all shortlisted applicants, the selection panel has inadequate time to conclude the recruitment process, and further conscious of the need for the selection panel to ensure the recruitment process complies with the constitutional principles of regional balance, representation of the youth, and overall inclusivity, while ensuring that the interviews are conducted as far as is practical within official working days and hours. Now, therefore, pursuant to the provisions of paragraph 6.2 of the first schedule to the IEBC Act, Cap 7C, the Houses of Parliament resolve to extend the tenure of the selection panel for recruitment of the persons for appointment as chairperson and members of the IEBC by a period of 14 days from 28th of April 2025. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Abbas. Honorable Speaker, sir, I want to give notice on motion report on the Standing Committee on Devolution and Government Relations and the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights on a petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omasudi concerning the restraining of county government from the hiring of law firms to represent them in the courts. Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Government Relations and Legal Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights a petition to the Senate by Mr. Laban Omasudi concerning restraining county governments from hiring the law firms to represent them in the courts. Cases laid on the table on the Senate on Tuesday, 3rd April 2025. I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 53.1. The Honorable Senator Professor Tom Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I read this statement on behalf of Senator Professor Senior Counsel Tom Ojenda. First is a statement on professionalism in the public service transport sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing regarding professionalism in the public service transport sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the 12th of March 2025, a conductor of a Super Metro Circle Limited, Super Metro, passenger service vehicle pushed a passenger out of a moving bus, leading to a passenger's untimely death. This reckless and inhuman act is not only a violation of human rights, but also raises concerns about the professionalism and conduct of PSV drivers and conductors across the country. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the actions being taken by the National Transport and Safety Authority and other law enforcement agencies to fast-track investigations into the specified tragic incident and to prosecute those responsible. Secondly, the measures in place to ensure strict adherence to PSV operators to establish professional standards in respect of licensing, training of their drivers and conductors, and enforcement of ethical conduct amongst the drivers and conductors. Third, the steps taken to curb misconduct and violence by PSV drivers and conductors, including the disciplinary and monitoring mechanisms in place to guarantee passenger safety. Fourth, policy or legislative proposals to enhance professionalism, accountability, and overall passenger safety in the public service transport sector. On the second statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defence and Foreign Relations regarding the violent clashes that occurred on the 22nd of February 2025 in Sondu town, which is located along the border of Kisumu and Kericho counties, which tragically resulted in the 3 fatalities. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the causes, timelines, and impacts of the clashes, including the number of casualties, extent of property destruction, displacement of residents, and any historical disputes or boundary ambiguities contributing to tensions in the Sondu area. Second, the immediate security interventions undertaken to restore calm, including the deployment of law enforcement personnel, coordination between the national and county governments, and efforts to prevent further escalation. Third, the role of local traders, elders, and peace committees in conflict and mediation, and assessment of the effectiveness of existing peace accords and community-based resolution mechanisms. Fourth, the long-term strategies being implemented to ensure sustainable peace and development in the region, outlining community engagement initiatives, infrastructure investment, and social economic programs to address root causes of conflict. Fifth, the measures in place to ensure accountability for those responsible for the violence, including investigations, arrests, prosecutions, and steps taken to break the circle of impunity in the region. On the third statement, Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the establishment and conservation of wildlife corridors with a specific focus on Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, the rapid urbanization and agricultural expansion have increasingly encroached upon key ecological zones, threatening species such as hippos, impalas, and over 115 bird species found in the Kisumu Impala Sanctuary. Additionally, human-wildlife conflicts, particularly around Lake Victoria, pose risks to both local communities and wildlife populations, given that Kenya's tourism sector contributes approximately to 10% of the GDP and provides over 1.8 million jobs. Safeguarding these corridors is crucial for maintaining ecological balance and sustaining economic benefits. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, Existing and proposed wildlife corridors in Kisumu County, their significance in conservation and biodiversity protection, and the role of Kenya Wildlife Service, which is KWS, and county authorities in their management, and the level of funding and resources allocated by both national and county governments for their development and long-term sustainability. Second, the impact of human settlements, infrastructural projects, and agricultural expansion on wildlife movements and ecological balance in the region. Third, measures put in place to mitigate human-wildlife conflicts, particularly in areas where the wildlife corridors intersect with community settlements. Fourth, the government efforts to secure land for conservation and any plans to encourage local communities in core management strategies. Fifth, data on wildlife species affected by the habitat fragmentation in Kisumu County and the conservation strategies being implemented for their protection. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Maruma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to request for a statement on the scheme of service for chiefs and assistant chiefs. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations concerning the scheme of service for national government administrative officers, specifically chiefs and assistant chiefs. In the statement, the committee should address the following. The scheme of service currently guiding the recruitment, promotion, and career progression of chiefs and assistant chiefs, including when it was last reviewed or updated. 2, the criteria used for hiring and promoting chiefs and assistant chiefs, including the entry level job group, highest attainable job group within the ranks, and the minimum and maximum duration an officer stays within a job group before promotion. 3, the breakdown of emoluments received by chiefs and assistant chiefs, including but not limited to basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, extraneous allowance, and annual salary increments. And 4, the existing gaps and reforms needed in the current scheme of service to address stagnation in career progression and improve motivation and retention among these officers. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Majority Leader. The Majority Leader.
Statement by the Senate Majority Leader on the business of the Senate for the week commencing 8th of April 2025 at Tuesday, pursuant to Standing Order number 57.1. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to the Standing Order 57.1, I hereby present the business for the week commencing 8th of April 2025, Tuesday. Before I proceed, Mr. Speaker, with the statement, I take this opportunity to welcome honorable senators back from the short recess. I hope honorable senators took the time to rest, spend time with family and friends, those ones who have, reconnect with constituents and rejuvenate themselves for part 2 of the 4th session. As honorable senators will recall, on 27th March 2025, Thursday, the Senate held a special sitting during which motions on the adoption of the reports of the County Public Accounts Committee and County Public Investments Committee and special funds were considered and approved. Additionally, the county government's additional allocations bill, Senate Bill number 1 of 2025, was considered and passed at the second reading stage. I take this opportunity to thank honorable senators for availing themselves for the special sitting and for their dedication to the work we were able to accomplish. Mr. Speaker, the status of the legislative business pending before the Senate is as follows. 51 bills, which 42 of them are at the second reading stage and 17 are at the committee of the whole stage. 33 motions are pending conclusion. 26 petitions, Mr. Speaker, are pending conclusion, out of which 18 are due for reporting by the respective standing committees. 568 statements pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 are under consideration by committees. As honorable senators will recall, during yesterday's afternoon sitting, Wednesday, 2nd April 2025, the Speaker gave directives concerning the processing of statements. In this regard, I implore honorable senators to adhere to the provisions of Standing Order number 55 when making a request for a statement. On Tuesday, 8th April 2025, the Senate Business Committee will meet to consider the business for the week. The tentative business for that day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as the business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning sitting on Wednesday, 9th April 2025, will include schedule of questions to Cabinet Secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. The questions scheduled include question to the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry by Senator James Morango, MP. Question to the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning by Senator Enoch Wambua, CBS, MP. Question to the Cabinet Secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning by James Morango, MP. Question to Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury and Economic Planning by Senator Professor Thomas Ojenda, Senior Counsel, MP. Question to Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transportation by Senator Mohamed Chute, MP. Question to the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transportation by James Morango, and with the same Secretary, question by Professor Tom Ojenda, Senior Counsel, MP, and similarly to the same question to the same Cabinet Secretary, question by Senator Maanzo, EBS, MP. And finally, question to the same Secretary by Senator Fatuma Dulo, CBS, MP. Mr. Speaker, the tentative business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 9th April 2025 will include business not concluded from the order paper for April 8th, Tuesday, 2025, and also cover the following. Bills as a second reading stage. The county government's state officers removal from office procedure bill, the Creative Economy Support Bill, the County Government's Amendment Bill, the Labor Migration and Management Bill, the Street Naming and Property Addressing Systems Bill. Also included will be business at the Committee of the Whole, namely the Early Childhood Education Bill, the Local Content Bill, the Street Wonders Bill, the County Public Finance Laws Bill, the Cooperative Societies Bill, the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill, the Heritage and Museums Bill, the County Library Services and the County Library Services Bill. The projected business for Tuesday, 10th of April, 2025 will include, Mr. Speaker, business not conducted on the order paper for 9th of April, 2025, Wednesday, and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, I do thank you and hereby lay this statement on the table of the House.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments for not more than 15 minutes on the statements that have been requested. Senator Fernandi.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you. My statement is concerning, the Senator for Taita Taveta on the issue of scheme of service for national government administration officers, especially chiefs and assistant chiefs. Mr. Speaker, I would have wished that the Senator would have added also the scheme of service of Nyumba Kumi and village elders. But I think these are the issues that we can discuss when the minister appears before the committee, Mr. Speaker, sir. Because chiefs and assistant chiefs, Mr. Speaker, are over-glorified social workers. Everything that happens in the village at location and sub-location level, we always depend on the chiefs, Mr. Speaker. They undergo, I have seen even chiefs in North Rift, in Baringo, the chiefs are becoming easy target of criminals and bandits in that region. Anywhere you go, chiefs are becoming easy targets of criminal attacks, Mr. Speaker, and even bandits. And therefore, they must be protected at all costs. And schemes of service, Mr. Speaker, must be provided to them so that they can discharge their duties without fear or favor or being easy targets of criminals and bandits, Mr. Speaker. So I think, Mr. Speaker, with the amendment of the law, now I am happy that the assistant chiefs and chiefs have been assigned the administration police officers for easy enforcement. I see people going to see chiefs for marital problems, land issues, cultural differences, and they normally are present, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, and finally, is we need to look also about the Nyumba Kumi, because they assist us in ensuring that there is peace. I remember the other day, was it Kuala or Kilifi, that they were machete-wielding criminal gangs. Many areas, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to request to write on this statement the issue of village elders. We must include them, Mr. Speaker. This issue of giving them stipend is not enough. Mr. Speaker, the village elders are very critical. And I want to appeal to the Ministry of Interior that they should not, Mr. Speaker, include academic qualification. Mr. Speaker, village elders are enough the way they are. You don't need to give the academic qualification they need to have is to understand the cultural norms and behavior of a community. Because most of the time, the village elders have become the cornerstone of rule of law and order within the community, Mr. Speaker. So the village elders, we don't even need to know whether they went to school or not. If you want to become a village elder in Wambua, Senator Wambua's village, are you above 40 years? Are you married, Mr. Speaker? Do you understand the local culture of the place, Mr. Speaker? And they give you the job and they're being paid, Mr. Speaker. This issue of telling village elders that they need to have academic qualifications is that in this country we have brilliant fools, Mr. Speaker. There are many brilliant fools in this country that cannot do even a quarter of what our village elders are doing, Mr. Speaker. So the issue of stipend to village elders, we should make it a salary, give them office, give them the peck and call of administration police to ensure they enforce, Mr. Speaker, on issues of marital issues, the issues of cultural differences, and the issues of assisting and tracking of criminals within our society, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with those very remarks, I support this statement and hope to see that the scheme of service of assistant chiefs, village elders and Nyumba Kumi are well factored in for the protection of societal order within our villages, locations, and even within our counties. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Wambua, 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to make comments on the statement brought by the Senator for Taita Taveta on the scheme of service for chiefs and assistant chiefs. The Speaker, just to add something small, that the Speaker, the service provided by these administrators at the local level, the Speaker, is so crucial that in fact an assistant chief plays the role of a judge, they play the role of family counselors, they play the role of administrators and arbitrators. The Speaker, the service that they offer is so critical that there is need for a proper scheme of service, complete with clarity, Mr. Speaker, on career progression path. A situation where, Mr. Speaker, someone can begin as a village elder, as an assistant chief, and aspire to go through the administrative ladder and even one day become a regional commissioner. That, Mr. Speaker, that progression must be so clear that the people that grow in the system are people who understand how the system works. The Speaker, on the matter that Senator Cheragei has brought to the floor on village elders, I don't agree with Senator Cheragei on a number of things, on a lot of things actually. But on this one, the Speaker, I agree with him. The Speaker, village elders, let us not even make the service of village elders too academic, or too elitist. Why do you need a university degree to be able to resolve small little village issues, Mr. Speaker? The best qualification for a village elder is a person who is mature enough to understand the challenges of the village and who is known within the village, who knows the boundaries of the village, who knows relationships within the families in the village, the culture of the village. We shouldn't make these things too academic, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, you're going to have a situation where everything that we do, even now, is just saying that the people who work in our farms must have degrees in agriculture. Mr. Speaker, let us just be realistic. Where the rubber meets the road in the villages, let us have mature men and women who can arbitrate on issues, people understand the issues in their villages. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to laud the Senator of Taita Taveta. The issue of the role of chiefs is truly misunderstood. Chiefs and assistant chiefs, Mr. Speaker, are very important. You do not have to ask. The moment you enter Magarini like this and you meet an assistant chief, their discipline, their demeanor, their grasp of local issues is always congruent to what I find in Luahaha, in Bungoma, Mr. Speaker. What is lacking, Mr. Speaker, is the national appreciation of their work. Mr. Speaker, look at the critical area of alternative resolution of disputes. Chiefs and assistant chiefs are the only ones who are not corrupt in that court. They are able to preside over serious issues, including land issues, and they settle those things amicably without having to be corrupted. But allowed to go through the normal legal process, families will spend their years without end, waste hundreds of thousands of shillings, and no resolution of the dispute will come, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to add that we have to have clear distinction between the chiefs and their roles and the new look police stations. There are now so many police stations in villages. So the police will ask the assistant chief to go and arrest criminals. And the chiefs and assistant chiefs, they risk their lives because some of these criminals are violent people. And when they hand them over at the police station, the OCS then creates a kangaroo court and releases the same criminals. The criminals go back to the village, they attack the assistant chief and the chief. We need to protect these people, and this protection, Mr. Speaker, should appreciate that they also need medical cover. Mr. Speaker, our chiefs require to be trained and be formally be armed by firearms for their own protection and their facilitation to carry out their duties. And finally, most governors across the country have created a parallel administrative unit. Some call it village administrators, whatever they call them. We need to harmonize between the two levels of government so that there's no clashing. Sometimes you go to public functions and you hear the chief being contradicted by the community area administrator from a county government. I support this very important statement.
Senator Fake, 3 minutes.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Mwarumo. Mheshimiwa Spika, kazi inayofanywa na machifu na wazee wa mitaa ni kazi muhimu sana katika nchi yetu, na kwa hakika wanafanya kazi ngumu. Kwa mfano kule Mombasa, kuna mzee wa mtaa alipigwa risasi na akauliwa na majambazi ambao walikuwa ni wanahusiana na ugaidi, yani Al-Shabaab, na familia ikaondoka patupu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na ni muhimu kwa zile kazi wanazofanya, kwa sababu mambo kwa polisi yanaenda mahakamani, inachukua muda mrefu kutatuliwa kuliko yale ambayo yanazungumzwa kwa chifu na kwa kupitia wazee ambao wanakaa kwa chifu, kutatuliwa masuala ya kijamii kama vile ugomvi kati ya bibi na bwana nyumbani. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hawa ni watu muhimu sana, na hivi sasa kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa kazi, Mheshimiwa Spika, baadhi ya machifu ambao wanaajiriwa wamefika mpaka chuo kikuu na wana shahada ya degree katika masomo au katika taaluma mbalimbali ambazo wamesomea, lakini kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa kazi wanaendelea kuwa wanafanya kazi ya chief. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu sana kwa jamii kuwatambua watu hawa na umuhimu wao katika jamii. Mheshimiwa Spika, zamani hata wanafunzi wa university ilikuwa wakifukuzwa lazima wakaripoti kwa chief, na japokuwa chief hakusoma, lakini lazima uripoti kwake ndio uone ile authority ama umuhimu wa kazi ya chief. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ni lazima watu hawa tamu zao za kazi ziweze kuboreshwa, ili wanapofanya kazi na majukumu ambao wamepewa, Mheshimiwa Spika, wanaweza kuyafanya kwa kuzingatia kwamba kazi yao inatambulika. Hivi sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, majuzi Waziri Murkomen alitoa agizo kwamba iwapo kutapatikana pombe haramu katika eneo fulani, chifu yule atapoteza kazi. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo sio njia ya kuweza kuwashajaisha machifu kufanya kazi. Wanafanya kazi muhimu, kwa hivyo kazi yao lazima itambuliwe, na vile vile Mheshimiwa Spika, waweze kulipwa mshahara ambao utazingatia zile kazi na changamoto wanazozipata katika kazi zao. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Nderitu.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii kuchangia taarifa iliyoletwa na Senator Jonas Mwaruma. Bwana Spika, ni vizuri julikane wazi kwamba machifu pamoja na naibu wa machifu wana kazi muhimu wanayofanya sana. Bwana Spika, ikumbukwe kwamba hawa manaibu wa chifu ndio wanashughulikia mambo ya usalama pamoja na wazee wa mitaani. Bwana Spika, ukitembea kama Laikipia unapata machifu wengi kwa sababu wao ndio wanahusika sana mambo ya usalama. Unapata mfano ukienda mahali panaitwa Doldor, kumeuawa chifu kwa sababu yeye ndio anahusika. Ng'ombe wanapoibiwa wao ndio wako katika mstari wa mbele kufuata. Bwana Spika, kwa hivyo wanapaswa washughulikiwe. Unapata anatumia pikipiki yake ambayo hajapewa na serikali, anatumia mafuta yake, ilhali Bwana Spika, yule chifu anatumia hela zake na hawezi kupewa fidia na serikali, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo taarifa hii imeletwa na inasema kwamba kuongezwa kwa mamlaka ama madaraka, Bwana Spika, unapata ya kwamba haifuati ule mfululizo wa masomo walionayo, Bwana Spika. Unapata wengi wao akiwa ni naibu chief, ameajiriwa akiwa naibu chief, atastaafu akiwa naibu chief, Bwana Spika, hawezi kufika kiwango kingine, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri kuangaliwe kazi anayofanya, Bwana Spika. Kitambo kidogo manaibu wa chifu na chifu walikuwa wamepewa askari wako na askari pale, atatumiwa wale askari ikiwa anataka kufuata wezi, ikiwa anataka wale ambao wagema ambao anatengeneza pombe, unapata anaenda na wale askari. Lakini kwa wakati huu, Bwana Spika, huyu chifu hana mlinzi yoyote, yeye ni kama mwananchi wa kawaida. Kile ako nacho pengine ni ile sare ya maafisa wa usalama, lakini hana chochote kingine, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo yeye ni kama mwananchi wa kawaida. Kwa hivyo haya mapendekezo yakipelekwa katika kamati, kunapaswa kuletwa mapendekezo ambayo itasema hata chifu anapaswa warejeshewe wale maafisa wao, ama kama sio hivyo, Bwana Spika, yule chifu aweze kupewa bunduki, kwa sababu wanatumika vizuri, sio tu kwa mambo ya usalama. Hata wakati wanafunzi, nakumbuka tulipokuwa pale chuoni, kila wakati ukitaka kujaza kama ni basari, unaenda unauliza, kwa sababu anajua kila mwanafunzi, kila mzazi katika sehemu yake ataweza kupatiana kwa ufasaha ni nani huyu, ama wao ni maskini ama ni mtu aina gani, ndio aweze kujulikana vizuri, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo hiyo taarifa iliyoletwa nataka kuiunga mkono na kumwambia Jonas Maruma na kamati ambayo imepewa tutaunga mkono. Asante, Bwana Spika.
Senator Kavindu.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii niweze kuchangia hii taarifa ambayo imeletwa na Senator Mwaruma. Bwana Spika, hii taarifa ni ya muhimu sana kwa sababu machifu na ma-assistant chief ni watu wa muhimu sana kwa kila eneo, kwa sababu utapata hata serikali ikitaka kujua vile kijiji kinaendelea, wanapitia kwa chiefs, kwa machifu na assistant wao. Bwana Spika, hii taarifa naiunga mkono na nitaisupport sana, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, hao machifu wanastahili kupatiwa ulinzi, kwa sababu wanafichua njama ambazo ni za watu waofu na ambao wanaweza kuwarudia na kuwaumiza. Kwa hivyo wanaweka maisha yao hatarini wanapofichua njama za wahalifu kwenye vijiji. Na pia ningeomba Senator Mwaruma na komiti ambao itapelekewa hii taarifa waweze kuangalia hata wazee wa nyumba 10. Wazee wa nyumba 10 pia hufanya kazi nyingi sana, kwa sababu wale machief na ma-assistant chief hawezi kufanya kazi vizuri bila wazee wa vijiji wa nyumba 10, na hao ndio wanafichua kule pombe haramu inauzwa, wale watu ambao ni wahalifu kule kwa kijiji. Hata mgeni akiingiwa kwa kijiji ambaye ni mgeni, watu wa kwanza kumtambua ni wazee wa kijiji na machifu na naibu wa machifu. Na kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, ni vizuri pia wawe wanapandishwa cheo kulingana na wakati uliowekwa, ama kuwe na wakati ambao umewekwa hao machifu na manaibu wao kupandishwa cheo. Nao pia wazee wa nyumba 10 Bwana Spika, ningeomba pia kamiti inapoenda kuangalia hii waone hao wazee pia wanalipwa, maana hao wazee huamshwa usiku wa manane, wanaenda pahali kuna mgonjwa, kuna uhalifu, na hata hawaogopi na hawapatiwi chochote na serikali. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri hata hao wazee wa nyumba 10 wawe wanalipwa ama wanapatiwa hata transport ya kwenda kule ambao wanaenda kuangalia. Utapata hata polisi kufanya kazi vizuri kwenye station zao, inabidi watumie machifu na manaibu wao na pia wazee wa nyumba 10 ili wapate ripoti za wale wahalifu pahali wako, na pia hawa wanawasaidia pia kuwapatia hiyo information yote. Asante sana Bwana Spika, ninaunga mkono kabisa na nitaendelea kuiunga. Asante.
Senator Wakile. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to appreciate the Honorable Senator Maruma for bringing out such a very important aspect of the national administration. The position of an assistant chief, and chief is, Mr. Speaker, the lowest level of administration in the national government. And the proposal that this particular statement is seeking to have scheme of service for national government administrative officers is something that should have been done a while back. Mr. Speaker, this is a team of men and women who run our affairs as a nation at the lowest level of administration. They are the people who deal with each and every case before it gets to the police station, before it gets to court, before it gets to any other baraza that deals with it. They are the first point of call when there is a problem in any family, in any society. Mr. Speaker, having a scheme of service for these chiefs and assistant chiefs will help them in so many ways. One of which is very critical, Mr. Speaker, is to motivate them to know that you grow in the system. Having been employed in as an assistant chief, you have an opportunity to have your career progress when there is a scheme of service. Failure to have such a thing, definitely, Mr. Speaker, will always discourage them from performing their role. We have had sessions, Mr. Speaker, with a number of these people. Over the weekend, I can confirm that I had a session with a number of them who, besides them operating without resources and without offices, most of them would operate from their homes. These are people who receive all kinds of problems and they are expected to deal with. Having a scheme of service, having them in a structured kind of an arrangement that they know, I get into office within a period of 3 years, I will have moved to the next level, will have them supported so that they deliver to the people that they represent. Mr. Speaker, this, as I've said, being the team that is also supporting the government in most of the public participations that we conduct, the people who convene these meetings, the people who calls upon the residents to participate are the area chiefs and assistant chiefs. Without them, Mr. Speaker, I am very sure we are unable to reach out to the people who are more important than those who are in white-collar places in their offices. And so I will call upon the committee that will be given this particular statement to deal with to go beyond the scheme of service and ensure that part of what they'll come out and up with is also an aspect that deals with the operationalization of a number of administrative units which have been gazetted across. I know for a fact, Mr. Speaker, that in my county we've got over 100 administrative units that have been gazetted but has not been operationalized. I want to ask that this committee goes beyond this aspect on their scheme of service and ensure that they support them so that they are able to do the job of that chief and assistant chief, which supports the national government in helping the residents that are looking up to them. Mr. Speaker, I support and ask that this report, or rather this statement, be expedited because it is very, very important. I thank you.
Now, Honorable Senators, we have expended the 15 minutes on this interrogating these statements. We will therefore move to the next order. Clerk.
Order number 8, motion, consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the Persons with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2023. Resumption of debate interrupted on question to be put.
Now, Honorable Senator, this is a matter that does not affect counties, and therefore voting shall be by voice. Clerk, do we have the requisite quorum before I put the question? We do? All right. So, honorable members, I proceed to put the question. That the National Assembly amendments to the Persons with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2023, be now considered. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2024, resumption of debate, division. Order number 10, motion, report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of 2023, division.
Now, honorable senators, we have, if you look at order number 11, 12, 13, and 14 to 15, there's a committee of the whole. Now, I do not see Senator Crystal Asige. I see Senator Edwin Sifuna. I don't see the majority leader who is supposed to handle 14, 15, and 13. I will therefore wish to defer the committee of the whole for now. We move to order number 16, which is the extension of the time of the selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for appointment as the chairperson and members of IEBC. Proceed to call that order.
Motion, extension of time to the selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for appointment as a chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion. The motion being extension of time for the selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the Independent Boundaries Commission. Mr. Speaker, aware that via Gazette Notice numbers 1901 and 2643, dated 14th of February 2023 and 1st of March 23, respectively, His Excellency the President declared one vacancy for the position of chairperson for IEBC and 6 vacancies for members of IEBC, further aware that via Gazette Notice number 715 of 27 January 2025, His Excellency the President appointed members of the selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the IEBC, and noting that upon its appointment, the selection panel commenced the recruitment process and long-listed all applicants and subsequently shortlisted qualified applicants for the positions of chairperson and member of the IEBC. Further, noting that paragraph 6.1 of the first schedule to the IEBC Act, Cap 7C, provides that the selection panel shall finalize the recruitment exercise within 90 days of its appointment and forward the names of the nominees to the President. And conscious, Mr. Speaker, that the selection panel is currently undertaking the interviews of the shortlisted candidates for the position of chairperson and members of the IEBC, and that given the interview schedule of all shortlisted applicants, the selection panel has inadequate time to conclude the recruitment process. Conscious, Mr. Speaker, that the selection panel is currently undertaking the interviews of the shortlisted candidates of the positions of chairperson and members of the IEBC, and that given the interview schedule of all candidates applicants, the selection panel has inadequate time to conclude the process. Furthermore, conscious of the need for the selection panel to ensure that the recruitment process complies with the constitutional principles of regional balance, representation of the youth, and overall inclusivity, while ensuring that the interviews are conducted as far as practical within official working days and hours. Now, therefore, pursuant to the provisions of paragraph 6.2 of the first schedule of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act, Cap 7C, the Houses of Parliament hereby resolve to extend the tenure of the selection panel for recruitment of persons for appointment as persons, chairpersons, and members of the IEBC Commission by a period of 14 days from 28th of April 2025. Mr. Speaker, by merely reading the motion, I've literally explained the reasons behind this particular request. Mr. Speaker, it boils down to the question of time. We've all been witnessing the interviews. They have been nice to watch. And Mr. Speaker, knowing the critical role and the centrality of the IEBC, these 14 days would not be too much to bear. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the House that we agree with them on their request, and also point out to the House that our sister House has been able to sit on this matter, and they have granted them this request. So it would be useful, Mr. Speaker, although that statement doesn't sit very well with the leadership of Kitui, but the Constitution of Kenya recognizes the fact that the two houses, if they don't work in congruence, then Parliament has not spoken. On this one, Parliament must speak. I therefore want to request colleagues, but as I do so, I would like to sound a warning to the members of the selection panel that constitutional timelines that were envisaged were not born out of guesswork. People with the necessary competences did the timing and knew that within 90 days, this is doable. Sometimes we get worried, but because of our oversight role in expenditure of public funds, I want to warn members of the selection panel that if you are extending merely for purposes of having more days from which you can draw an earning, then, Mr. Speaker, that is not normal. The national cake is too small for us to waste. Mr. Speaker, I have looked at some of the interviewees. They have given very good, they have discharged themselves very well. And I hope that through this process, we are going to get not just the chairman, but, Mr. Speaker, the best chairman that we should have gotten. For members who will find it difficult to extend these days, may I beg you, we have 5 constituencies in Kenya today that do not have representation. In fact, those guys of the selection panel needed to raise to that challenge. You all know our colleague, the late Senator William Chiptumo, left us. The people of Baringo would like an opportunity to replace him. Back home in Malaba constituency, we lost our Member of Parliament, the Honorable Malulu Njendi, Moses. People of Malaba would like to have him replaced. Not to mention Banisa constituency, where my good friend Hassan Maalim was hit in a freak accident. He was knocked by a border and he lost his life. Mr. Speaker, it has taken so long. I remember Maalim taught me one thing. He was much younger than me, probably a first-timer, but he taught me that in politics, if you like somebody, don't like him 100%, like him 50%, because they can disappoint you. Mr. Speaker, the people of Magarini, back home in your place, the Member of Parliament was asked to go back to the people and legitimize his election because of the finding of the petition court. Many wards, in fact, 7 of them, are waiting for this particular decision to be made. It includes Nyamaiya ward in Nyamira constituency, Mumbuni North ward in Machakos County, in Narok town, in Narok County, yes? Angata Najek ward in Samburu County, Jewani in Tana River County, and Dela ward in Wajir County. Mr. Speaker, as if that is not enough, it must not be lost on us that we have the pending issue of the review of electoral boundaries and delimitation. I therefore move the motion and request my brother, the leader of the minority, to second me. And as I do so, our colleagues on the minority side, please bear with us. We did not do the proper consultation with you to bring you on board. I am apologizing on behalf of the majority. It is the nature in which this matter was brought before us, but life goes on. So let's put that one aside and hopefully see this matter, which is procedural, through. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ulikuwa hujaniita lakini mimi nimechukua nafasi hiyo kwa sababu ulikuwa ongea na dadangu, nikasema ni sawa, acha nitaendelea.
The mover, it is the mover who is supposed to request you to second. If the mover has done,
yeah.
Have you been requested to second?
Yes.
Then proceed. You don't need my nod in that regard.
Bwana Spika, kawaida lazima utasema sasa tutamtaja mtu jina kama ilivyo kawaida, lakini wacha tuendelee Bwana Spika.
Seneta wa Kilifi,
sawa.
Seneta Mazao,
nishakuelewa Bwana Spika, asante.
Ni wako, endelea.
Bwana Spika, kwanza nataka kuunga mkono hii hoja ya kuongeza muda kwa ile panel inaofanya interview, kuchagua wale wenzetu ama watu ambao watakuwa makomishna. Panel hii Bwana Spika, ama jopo hili Bwana Spika, unaloliona liko na kazi nyingi sana, na kazi nyingi kwa sababu ilikuwa imepewa muda kulinganishana na katiba, lakini ule muda unaonekana sasa umeyoyoma sana, na bado wale watu ambao wanafanyiwa interview bado wakilikuja, na vile muda utaendelea kuyoyoma. Kwa hiyo ni jambo ambalo wameliona kwamba muda ukifika watakuwa hawajakamilisha, na ndio sababu wameweza kuomba muda waongezewe wa siku 14. Bwana Spika, sababu walizosema ni kwamba hawakutarajia kitendo kama hichi kinaweza kutendeka, wakitumaini ya kwamba wanaweza kumaliza muda wa kawaida ili Wakenya waweze kupata hili jopo la kusimamia mambo ya kura katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Bwana Spika, kitu ambacho mimi nataka kusisitiza kwamba ni muhimu, tunataka kama Wakenya tupate kazi ambayo iko safi. Tunataka kuona katika Kenya kwamba wale watu watakaochaguliwa watakuwa ni watu ambao wanaweza kutimiza wajibu wa ile kazi ambayo wamechaguliwa. Vile vile, Bwana Spika, tunajua kwamba katika wale watu ambao wanakuwa interviewed, Bwana Spika, ni watu wanatoka sehemu mbalimbali za Kenya, na hii si kazi ambayo unaweza kuketi tu na ukachukua watu. Tunataka kuona katika muda wanaosema wanaohitaji ili kuweza kumaliza ile kazi, ni kwamba kazi hii wachukue watu kutoka pande zote katika Kenya. Bwana Spika, ni jambo kubwa ama jambo ambalo liko na mzigo mkubwa katika muda huu ambao wameuuliza. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi nataka kuunga mkono ya kwamba katika zile siku 14 ambazo wameziuliza, na ikiwa wamemaliza tayari zile siku zao, karibu kumaliza siku 90 kulinganishana na ule muda ambao walipewa, ninaona ni sawa kabisa tuwapatie ule muda. Bwana Spika, tunajua kwamba hivi sasa Wakenya wamemaliza muda mrefu sana, wamekaa bila kuwa na jopo ambalo linaweza kusimamia mambo ya kura na vile vile mambo ya mipaka ya constituencies katika Kenya. Bwana Spika, si kazi rahisi, na hii imefanya kwamba muda huu wote ambao hatukuweza kuchagua hawa watu, imekuwa vigumu sana kuweza kupata wabunge katika sehemu mbalimbali za Kenya ambao wameweza kupoteza wabunge wao, mimi nikiwa mmoja wao. Bwana Spika, hivi tunavyoongea, eneo bunge langu katika Kilifi County la Magarini, tuliweza kuna mwenzetu aliweza kufanya petition na kufaulu, na hatimaye tukaweza kumpoteza mbunge wetu pale, ndugu yetu Mheshimiwa Harrison Kombe. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, katika huu muda ambao watu wa Magarini wameketi, ni muda mrefu zaidi kuweza kuketi nyumbani na kuweza kuona ya kwamba mambo mengi yanatendeka katika nchi, ilhali wao wenyewe walienda asubuhi na kupiga kura kuweza kupata kiongozi, na hivi sasa kiongozi wao alitolewa na koti, na hatimaye hivi sasa atarudi tena katika ule ukingo wa zile mashindano ili aweze kuchukua kiti chake tena. Kwa hiyo tunasema ya kwamba ingekuwa nafasi nzuri tukiweza kuwapatia hawa nafasi ili waweze kumaliza, alafu tupate wale makomishona waingie katika ofisi yao, ili wakishaingia ndani sasa eneo la Magarini nao lianze kujitayarisha ili kupata mbunge. Na tuna matumaini, nayo matumaini makubwa ya kwamba ndugu yangu Harrison Kombe, Mheshimiwa Harrison Kombe, ataweza kuchukua nafasi hiyo. Bwana Spika, bila kuchukua wakati muda mrefu, naunga mkono hoja hii. Kama kijana kama Cherargei anaongea pale na mimi naongea, si haki. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi naunga mkono hoja hii kwa dhati. Asante Bwana Spika.
Honorable Senators, I will now propose the question. That are aware that Vide Gazette notices number 1901 and 2643 dated the 14th of February 2023 and 1st of March 2023 respectively, His Excellency the President declared one vacancy for the position of the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and 6 vacancies for the position of members of the IEBC. Further, aware that Vide Gazette Notice number 715 of 27th of January 2025, His Excellency the President appointed members of the selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for appointment as the chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, noting that upon its appointment, the selection panel commenced the recruitment process and long-listed all applicants and subsequently shortlisted qualified applicants for the positions of chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Further, noting that paragraph 6.1 of the first schedule to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act, Cap 7C, provides that the selection panel shall finalize the recruitment exercise within 90 days of its appointment and forward the names of nominees to the President. Conscious that the selection panel is currently undertaking the interviews of the shortlisted candidates for the positions of chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and that given the interview schedule of all shortlisted applicants, the selection panel has inadequate time to conclude the recruitment process. Further, conscious of the need for the selection panel to ensure the recruitment process complies with the constitutional principles of regional balance, representation of the youth, and overall inclusivity, while ensuring that the interviews are conducted as far as practicable within official working days and hours. Now, therefore, pursuant to the provisions of paragraph 6.2 of the first schedule to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act, Cap 7C, the Houses of Parliament resolved to extend the tenure of the selection panel for recruitment of persons for appointment as chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission by a period of 14 days from the 28th of April 2025. Commission by a period of 14 days from the 28th of April 2025. Now, Honorable Senators, the floor is open for debate. This is a procedural motion. You may want to debate this motion. If you're in agreement, I may proceed straight away to put the question. That is, okay, I'm getting the indication that you'd wish to debate this motion, however, with limitation of time on each member contributing to 5 minutes. Very well. Senator Wakili.
By farmers within Kenya will be taken to NCPP to avoid delivering of imported wheat to the NCPP. And lastly, the statement sought was the interventions that the Ministry of Agriculture intends to take to cushion wheat farmers in the Narok County from losing their property through bank auctions for non-performing loans arising from the poor market condition. Number one is improving the price of locally produced wheat. The ministry has set the minimum price of 5,300 for grade 1 and 5,200 for grade 2. And number two is that farmers will be paid within 30 days upon delivery of wheat to the NCPP depot. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. The Honorable Rebecca Tonke.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the reply to my question is not satisfactory at all. Honorable Speaker, it's very unfortunate that even as we see today here, the farmers in Narok County have their wheat still in stores in the cereals as they were instructed to take the wheat to the cereals board. Honorable Speaker, the minister sat with the farmers and an agreement was struck that wheat will be picked from the cereal boards, and the farmers took their wheat to the cereal boards, and up to date, Honorable Speaker, only 4 lorries were only picked from the cereal boards. So it is very unfortunate that our CS can sit with the farmers, and after that, after 2.5 months, nothing has happened. I do not know where the farmers will run to. I don't know where people who are struggling, picking loans from banks will run to, if at the end of the day, Honorable Speaker, people can take their wheat to the millers and they have loans in the banks and nobody can buy that wheat. Honorable Speaker, my people in Narok County are suffering. The farmers have loans and nobody can pay. And up to date, Honorable Speaker, they are a desperate lot. They can't even prepare for their farms because they do not have money to do farming in the next season. So that answer is not satisfactory at all. And we would wish that when our CS speaks, what should be said, Honorable Speaker, should be facts, so that we don't just get answers that do not even answer anything, Honorable Speaker. It is not fair to the people that we represent. It's not fair even to us as members of Parliament. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Chair. You know, that question was quite emotive when it was that statement. I was here seated in my usual place. Is it true that nothing is happening in terms of the marketing of the wheat after all? We saw the farmers on the road with their tractors. Yes, Chair.
Mr. Speaker, there was an intervention and the minister have met the concerned parties or stakeholders twice, on 26th of February 2025 and on March 3rd 2025, and there was agreements that were made. As to whether the agreements that were made have been honored, we shall revert back to the concerned party, because there is a comprehensive report on the agreements that were made between the two parties, which is the Cereal Growers Association, Cereal Millers Association, the wheat farmers, and the entire stakeholders within the wheat industry, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Yes, Honourable Member. And that's the last comment on this one. Give the Honourable Member the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the Speaker who brought this issue. I am the representative for those people, and I agree with the answers that, yes, we met. And our problem is not whether we met or not, or we had a meeting with the minister. The meeting was there, but it was never honored. And until today, our people are still struggling. And I wonder why the minister was aware that there were people who imported wheat. Why do they import wheat while our people are harvesting wheat and nobody is buying the wheat? What do they want our people to do? And I think it is wrong for this government to continue buying wheat from outside while the wheat that we have in Narok has not been bought. What do they want these people to pay their loans with? They have the loans, they have their children to take to school, they have their tractors, and yet still waiting from that day. Even on that day when we went to that office, to the minister's office, he looked unwilling even to listen to us. And I think we also have a share in this government, and we have a right to argue over what should happen to us. So to me, I think the answer is not correct and it's not right. The only wheat that has been bought are the 2 lorries. The other wheat is still in store.
Well.
And it is not very good stores where you can keep your food. Already that wheat is rotting. Yet we took the issue to the minister and we agreed. And we agreed that within 2 weeks they were going to buy the wheat. So I stand to support the member who brought this question.
Yes, Honourable. What is it, Honourable Member? On the same. Yeah, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I just want to add 1 or 2 words on this important issue affecting the farmers of wheat, not just in Narok, but in the rest of the country. And also, to talk about the sugar sector briefly. Honourable Speaker, the reason why there is no offtake of homegrown wheat in Kenya is because there was massive importation of wheat. And the records are there. And this House, in giving an answer to this House, we should have been given the records of all the wheat that was imported through the port of Mombasa. This is why the farmers of Narok are unable to sell their crop. And they will not be able to salvage the wheat crop because the storage facilities are not there. Aflatoxin will set up. The moisture content will be different. But there's somebody somewhere importing grains, sugar, and certain grains when the prices are low in the international market, flooding it in Kenya, and then rendering our farmers without an option where to sell their crop. And I think I agree with my sisters from Narok. The answer is unsatisfactory. There should be a clear indication to this House how much wheat has been imported in the last 12 months into the Republic of Kenya through the port of Mombasa. Kenya Bureau of Standards should give us their records. Kenya Ports Authority should give us their records. KFIS should give us their records. And we know. Let them not think we don't know. We know. Yes, and we know. It is the same with the sugar sector. There's something happening. We know. So let them give us that record in answering that question. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Oh, we shall raise the matter there. But that was a very serious emotive issue here. And Majority Leader, I want you to actually call the CS Agriculture to deal specifically with that wheat in Narok and other cereals which are being claimed that there's importation while the farmers, and remember the President took time to subsidize fertilizers, and that's why we are where we are. Yes. So please put him on order so that he comes here to deal with that matter. We cannot allow as a House the farmers of Narok and other farmers in the country to suffer while we don't have clear answers on what's happening. We move to the next order.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker. We'll ask the Minister to come in the subsequent week after next. So that, because next week we have two cabinet secretaries coming, probably the other week I will ask the Minister for Agriculture to be here.
Very well.
Satisfactory answers. Thank you very much.
Now we go back to order number 5. Very well. So let's get the ordinary statement, the normal statement on Thursday before we go to order number 5.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am glad and the pleasure, in pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2a, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 1st April 2025, to prioritize business for consideration during the week. Honorable Speaker, with regard to business schedule for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to consider the following bills at various stages as follows. A, Committee of the Whole House on the Division of Revenue Bill 2025. B, second reading of the following bills should they not be concluded today. 1, the Division of Revenue Bill 2025. 2, the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill 2025. The Learners with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bill number 4 of 2023. 4, the Treaty Making and Ratification Amendment Bill number 2, Bill 2024, and the Assumption of Office of President and Transition of Executive Authority Bill 2025. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, debate will also be undertaken on the following motions, some of which are listed on today's order paper. A, report of the Committee on National Government Constituencies Development Fund on the nominees to 37 National Government Constituencies Development Fund committees. B, report of the Public Accounts Committee on financial statements for the national government ministries, departments, and agencies for the financial year 2021-2022, and C, report of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the inquiry into the state of security in 6 counties of North Rift of Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia declared as disturbed. And D, report of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the ratification of the agreement for the establishment of the African Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, we have this on the card which we must dispose of today. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 42A, 5 and 6, I wish to convey that the following Cabinet Secretaries are scheduled to appear before the House on the afternoon of Wednesday, 9th April 2025, to respond to the questions as follows. The first one, Honorable Speaker, is the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs will respond to concerns regarding the criteria used by the government to ratify hardship areas and payment of hardship allowances to teachers and other civil servants in the country, raised in the House during the sitting of Tuesday, 1st April 2025, by the member for Nyando, the Honorable Jared Okello, MP. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important report we've been waiting for long, and therefore the Cabinet Secretary will be here to respond to this. That is the Prime Cabinet Secretary to respond to this. Honorable, we've taken steps to ensure that we dispose of this. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the Prime Cabinet Secretary is also scheduled to respond to the following questions. Question number 034 of 2025 by the member for West Mugirango, the Honorable Stephen Mogaka, MP, regarding measures taken by the government to assist Mr. Chris Ayuga Barake of passport number B203878, who was arrested and detained in India on 6 October 2023 on allegations of online fraud. And the second question to be answered by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Speaker, is question number 35 of 2025 by the member for Nandi County, the Honorable Cynthia Muge, MP, regarding details of children born to Kenyan mothers in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and steps being taken by the ministry to process their exit and return to Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the second Cabinet Secretary we shall have or host on Wednesday next week is the Cabinet Secretary for Education, who will respond to the following questions. Question number 18 of 2025 by the member for Mandera County, the Honorable Umulher Hassim, MP, regarding delay on integration of Duksi and Madrasa classes in primary and secondary schools in line with the provision of Section 95(2)(e) of the Basic Education Act, Cap 211. The second question is by the member for Kathiani, Honorable Robert Mbui, CBS MP, regarding the recruitment of teachers for junior secondary schools, including the number of slots allocated to each constituency. The third question is question number 037 of 2025 by the member for Kajiado Central, the Honorable Kanchori Elijah Memusi, MP, regarding report on the distribution of textbooks to primary and secondary schools in the country. The next is question number 38 of 2025 by the member for Matuga, the Honorable Kasim Tandaza, MP, regarding status report on the qualified teachers trained per teacher-student ratio under the competence-based curriculum, CBC. Question number 039 of 2025 by the member for Githunguri, the Honorable Gadhoni wa Muchomba, HSC MP, regarding the total amount of capitation funds disbursed by the ministry per school in the financial year 2024-2025 in Githunguri constituency. The next question, Honorable Speaker, is question 040 of 2025 by the member for Ruiru, the Honorable Simon Kingara, MP, regarding measures taken by the ministry to ensure that Mutuya Primary School receives capitation funds to cater for the 242 students registered as junior secondary school learners. The next question, Mr. Speaker, sir, is question number 41 of 2025 by the member for Lamu East, the Honorable Captain Ruweida Obo, MP, regarding utilization of the funds by Kizingitini Secondary School in Lamu East constituencies, particularly on maintenance of the facilities in the school. Honorable Speaker, question number 42 by the member for Kaloleni, the Honorable Paul Katana, MP, regarding steps taken to ensure compliance with the government directive requiring principals to release withheld Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education certificates to former students regardless of standing fees. Question number 43, Honorable Speaker, by the member for Homa Bay County, the Honorable Dr. Joyce Bensuda, MP, regarding government policies regarding adult education, including its operational framework and accessibility to marginalized communities. The Honorable Besuda is at her place and she's listening keenly. And she's saying yes. Yes, the Minister will be here to answer your question. Question number 44, Honorable Speaker, by the member for Kiambu, the Honorable Mashua Waithaka, MP, regarding the criteria used by the Ministry to allocate infrastructure funds to public schools in Kiambu constituency will receive funding to improve learning facilities. And lastly, on the questions, Honorable Speaker, is the question by the member for Nakuru County, the Honorable Liza Chelule. I can't see Liza, but she's supposed to be there. Regarding plans in place by the Ministry in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy to subsidize the high cost of electricity in special needs schools. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, the House Business Committee will reconvene on Tuesday, 8th April 2025 to schedule business for the rest of that week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me also to respond, Honorable Speaker, to questions that were asked about CDF, NGCDF, and the Affirmative Action Fund. Honorable Speaker, we in possession of a letter addressed to the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Samuel Njoroge, CBS, from the Treasury on the issue of CDF and disbursement of funds. The reference is status of disbursement of funds under the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF, and the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, NGAF. The Speaker ordered that today we provide a response to it, and I think we have a letter, and we will present the letter as is, so that for the consumption of members. Honorable Speaker, I would like to read the letter as such. Reference is made to your letter reference number that, dated 2nd April 2025 on the above subject. We wish to update on the status of NGCDF and GAF disbursement as follows. 1. The National Government Constituency Development Fund. The National Government Constituency Development Fund was allocated Kenya shilling 68.2 billion in the budget for financial year 2024-2025, including arrears of 13.5 billion. The National Treasury scheduled monthly disbursement of Kenya shilling 7 billion effective from January 2025 to ensure that the full allocation is disbursed by end of the financial year. So far, an amount of 27.5 billion has been disbursed, hence a balance of 40.7 billion as per the attached schedule. We have an attached schedule. The delay in this was occasioned by challenges in resource mobilization, both domestically and externally. However, the situation is expected to improve due to expected resources from both domestic and external sources in Q4. I understand the minister is in China looking for money, so probably he'll get this money for us. Accordingly, the National Treasury will endeavor to fund the amount of 21 billion that was due in Q3 in the course of this month. And this is very important information, Honorable Speaker. The minister says the National Treasury will endeavor to fund the amount of 21 billion that was due in Q3 in the course of this month. 21. So we expect 21 billion this month, so that that covers for 3 months. That is 7 billion, so that we have that money, Honorable Speaker, to cover for the issues that we are having, and especially on the issues of bursaries that many of our students have not received. Honorable Speaker, now I want to address the issue of the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, GAF. The National Government Affirmative Action Fund, GAF, was initially allocated a budget of 3.5 billion in the financial year 2024-2025, which was subsequently reduced to 2.7 billion in the supplementary 2 estimates. So far, an amount of 1.6 billion has been disbursed and will disburse the balance in the course of this month. So I want to inform the women representatives that are here, women MPs that are here, or county MPs that are here, that the amount of 1.6 billion will be disbursed in the course of this month, so that all the money will have been paid to the account of NGAF. That is the information from National Treasury. No, so this letter, Honorable Speaker, is copied to the Right Honorable Moses Wetangula and the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, CBS, and I beg to lay, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, and that's the information. I would request, Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, the chairman of NGCDF, who
He's not in the house. He was here, but he left.
He had requested that he would like to comment on this, but in his absence,
He left and he
Honorable
told me he
Speaker,
will be giving this statement.
we table this in the House. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Before we move to the next order, let me acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's gallery of the following schools: St. Jude, Karurumo Day School from Runyenjes Embu. Also, we have Entaretoi Comprehensive School from Kajiado East, and we also have PCEA Mararal Samburu Central, also in the Speaker's gallery. The Honorable Sunkuya is in the house. Very well. In his absence, we acknowledge the president of those schools on the behalf of this House in Parliament. Yes, we have the women rep. Please, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me take this chance to welcome the students to Parliament, and especially the PCA Maralal students who are here to see and follow the proceedings of the National Assembly. I think this is their first time to be here, and I want to welcome them with their teachers to come and see what is happening in the National Assembly. I know this is a very nice school. My students were schooling there, and they performed very well. It's one of the best schools in Maralal, Samburu County. So I want to welcome them, plus all the other students who are here to come and learn and follow the proceedings of the National Assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order. So we go back to order number 5, Chair Finance.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, the 3rd of April of 2025. Reports on the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of the following. 1, the Pensions Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 for 2024. And 2, the Kenya National Council for Population and Development Bill, National Assembly Bill number 72 of 2023. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025, second reading, resumption of debate.
Very well, we go back to Division of Revenue Bill. And I think the Honorable Sunkuya was on the floor. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the onset, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Sam Otandi for being elected to that position as Chair for Budget and Appropriation Committee. Mr. Speaker, on the Division of Revenue is an important, vital document to the people of Kenya, their national government, and their county. In this bill, there is an increase of 17.6 billion compared to the last year, where this money, this fund will be an important to the counties that will benefit on this. I want to echo the sentiment of the honorable members who supported this bill, that I also support this bill. The Honorable Speaker, on addition for the equalization fund, that the 34 counties will share the other equalization fund. But the most important aspect in this, the Honorable Speaker, is the fund that this fund need utilization to the intended project. In my constituency, where the equalization was given the 207 billion, but it will be very hard to find where the projects are doing. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support this bill. And I know this fund will do better to those governors who are utilizing this fund. Thank you.
Honorable Seka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also arise to support the Division of Revenue Bill 2025. Speaker, it is according to Article 218 that this bill is drafted. It seeks to allocate funds between the national government and county governments and equalization funds. This year, the shareable revenue that is available is about 2.8 trillion, of which 2.4 trillion goes to national government and 401 goes to county governments. So, Speaker, as we do this, we need to appreciate that there are challenges in managing these resources, and as a House, we need to come and rise to occasion and address 2 or 3 issues that are rising. One of it, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of the pending bills that is really draining the nation. Many of our contractors and suppliers who supply to both national government and county governments have not been paid, and this has slowed down the economic growth in the Republic of Kenya. We need to rise to occasion and decide that and make a decision as a House if we are going to pay these contractors and suppliers from the source, and the same manner shall be reduced from the revenues that are sent to county government. Second thing, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure that we get the value for money, and by so doing is to encourage the Treasury to migrate to e-procurement platform to ensure that it monitors all the procurements that are in the Republic of Kenya. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is also to look at the costing of the services that are the county government and see if at all the 401 billion that is going to be devolved to county governments is giving us value for money. We have challenges in our counties, Mr. Speaker, and we need to hold our governors to account to ensure that we have enough medicines in our facilities, we have access to clean water, we have motorable roads, and this can be done through our Senate and also through this House. So, Speaker, I support. Thank you.
It's important that we acknowledge the schools that have visited Parliament, so allow me, before we proceed, to acknowledge in the Speaker's gallery, Maguma Day Mixed School from Mara, Tharaka Nithi County. We also have Muisiringiri Primary from Naivasha in the Speaker's gallery. And honorable members, we also have Ngea Primary School from Naivasha constituency, Nakuru County in the House. And let me welcome the Member of Parliament, is it Naivasha, to welcome all the schools.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to welcome my pupils from the 2 schools, Gaya Primary School and Muishirigeri Primary School. This is where we are. This is where your parents put me, and I've always told you, you work very, very hard because you are going to take my seat when I leave. Karibuni, karibuni. We are happy to have you in the House. This is where laws are made. This is where the CDF comes from, is approved here, the ones that I build your schools with. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for that opportunity.
Very well, the Honorable Mary Amase on Division of Revenue.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill. Honorable Speaker, the Division of Revenue Bill is a very important bill because it provides for the sharing of equitable share between the two levels of government, national and county government. And Honorable Speaker, the total shareable revenue for this year, which is 2.8 trillion, national government will receive 2.4 trillion, equalization fund will receive 10 billion, 10.5, and the county governments will be receiving 405 billion, which constitutes 25.79% of the total shareable revenue. Honorable Speaker, this bill is also prepared in accordance to Article 218(2)(b) and also 203(1), which takes into consideration in analyzing and deciding on these figures and in determining these amounts. It has also taken into consideration the aspect of national interest, the aspect of national debt, because we know that for every 1 shilling that we collect, 6 shillings goes towards repayment of our national debt. It has also taken into consideration national obligations and also the needs of the disadvantaged in society. So, Honorable Speaker, it is my hope that we shall not get into mediation as it has been the trend in the past, because both levels of governments need to appreciate the challenges, even in terms of revenue, the revenue that we estimate, the shortfalls in the revenue that is collected. So we have to live within our means so that we are realistic even in our demands as we demand for additional allocations to what has already been proposed by the Budget Committee. Honorable Speaker, I support. And I want to say that county governments must learn to utilize this money efficiently, effectively, for purposes intended for the benefit of the people they represent. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. The new chair for budget, Honorable Tandi, had done a very good job in moving this particular bill, and the general mood in the House is that the mover be called upon to reply. So let me call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in reply, let me begin by thanking members of this House for the vigorous debate that we had yesterday up to 9 p.m. when members stayed behind to look at this, to discuss this bill. Honorable Speaker, out of the discussions that happened yesterday, I was able to come up with 3 fundamental factors, issues that were raised by members that we need to look at as a committee. Honorable Speaker, the first issue which came out prominently is the question of pending bills in counties. Honorable Speaker, pending bills in counties are mostly caused by failure by counties to meet their own source revenues. Honorable Speaker, this is something which is affecting performance of counties, and we want to urge our counties to ensure that as national government, we seek to meet our own revenue projections. Counties equally must also seek to meet their own source revenues as they project them. Honorable Speaker, the other issue that came out was the fact that as a House, we are lagging behind in approving our audited accounts. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, that the audited and approved accounts that we have used for the sake of this year's allocation of shareable revenues to counties are audited and approved accounts of financial year 2020-2021. Honorable Speaker, as you can see, this is about 3 years really behind. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to plead with our audit committees, the ones in charge of auditing and approving these revenues, to really work hard and fast-track the approvals so that we can be able to give counties what is really due to them. Honorable Speaker, the last issue has to do with also fast-tracking the fourth equalization fund policy. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, this issue was raised up by most members here, that the new policy needs to be enacted so that it can be used to properly implement the equalization fund. Also, Honorable Speaker, you are also aware that we are also lagging behind in the arrears. To date, we have not been able to pay about 46 billion into the Equalization Fund. Honorable Speaker, this is a real drawback that this House and Treasury must work hard to fast track. In the subsequent financial years, Honorable Speaker, we need to be able to allocate more resources to this fund so that in the next 5 years, when this fund is supposed to expire, we should be able to have met the allocations. Honorable Speaker, let me conclude by saying that I thank members again for their insightful input. I believe that from here, this bill will be processed in time. Honorable Speaker, I reply.
Order, members. You may take your seats. Order. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2025, be now read a second time. Will as many as without opinion say aye? Will as many as with contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable division of revenue raised nationally between the national and county government in the 2025-2026 financial year and for connected purposes.
Next order. Order, members. Order. I will rearrange the order paper so that we go to order number 11, and then after order number 11, we shall come back to the normal arrangement that the order paper was in. So read out order number 11.
Order number 11, motion, ratification of the agreement for the establishment of the African Finance Corporation.
Chair, Finance.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of the agreement for the establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation, laid on the table of the House on Friday, the 14th of March 2025, and in pursuant to the provisions of Section 8.4 of the treaty, making the Ratification Act Cap 4D that approves the ratification and establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I want to present the findings of the Departmental Committee that regarding the accession to the agreement for the establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation. This is a critical step in strengthening our financial and investment landscape, and I will take the next few minutes to walk you through why this really matters to the Republic of Kenya. Africa Finance Corporation, Honorable Speaker, is a multilateral financial institution that was established in 2007 with a clear mandate to bridge Africa's infrastructure and industrialization gaps by providing long-term financing, risk management, and advisory services. Since inception, Honorable Speaker, Africa Finance Corporation has invested over $10 billion in energy, in transport, in natural resources, and heavy industries across the continent. What makes AFC, Honorable Speaker, unique is a hybrid model that is combining both public sector backing with private sector efficiency. It is not a donor institution. Rather, it is a commercially driven entity that invests in projects that generate returns while creating sustainable development. Why should Kenya join AFC, Honorable Speaker? Kenya's economy is growing, but our infrastructure financing gap remains a great challenge. To realize our national goals, whether it is Vision 2030 or our bottom-up transformation agenda, we must secure sustainable and affordable financing. Acceding to AFC will provide Kenya with 3 capital advantages. 1, access to long-term, low-cost capital. AFC, Honorable Speaker, prioritizes investments in member states, meaning Kenya will gain access to cheaper and more flexible project financing. And second, Honorable Speaker, is going to lead to a stronger regional influence. The membership ensures that Kenya has a say in which projects receive AFC funding, which will allow us as a country to push for investments that align with our national interests. And thirdly, Honorable Speaker, there will be enhanced private sector growth. Kenyan companies, especially infrastructure and energy, will have a direct pathway to AFC funding. And this, Honorable Speaker, will spur job creation and industrialization. Our quick question is, what does this mean for our finances? Joining AFC, Honorable Speaker, requires a capital contribution, though the exact amount will be determined through negotiations. However, it is important to note that this is not a debt burden. Rather, it is an investment in a strong financial institution that has proven track record. Legally, Honorable Speaker, AFC operates under an international governance framework that ensures there is transparency, there is accountability, and risk management. This structure, Honorable Speaker, will protect Kenya's financial interests while ensuring that AFC remains an effective investment vehicle. Honorable Speaker, our committee is recommending the following: that after consideration, that this House, Honorable Speaker, accedes to the AFC to Honorable Speaker, and we have the following three recommendations: that this Parliament to ratify the agreement to formalize Kenya's membership, and two, that the government must negotiate favorable terms so that we ensure we maximize on Kenyan benefits, and then, Honorable Speaker, that a structured engagement with the private sector be necessitated to ensure that Kenyan businesses fully leverage on AFC opportunities. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, AFC is presenting to us an opportunity and not a liability. It is a platform for Kenya to tap into billions in development financing, strengthen our regional influence, and accelerate our infrastructure and industrialization goals. By saying yes to AFC, Honorable Speaker, we are saying yes to progress, we are saying yes to economic resilience, we are saying yes to sustainable development, Honorable Speaker. I urge this House to support this ratification, Honorable Speaker. And as I conclude, we've seen how our sources of financing through Britain institutions have done to this country, Honorable Speaker. Some of the conditionalities that come with those Honorable Speaker, are too steep, so steep for this country, Honorable Speaker. But by now being shareholders of the African Finance Corporation, we have a chance to negotiate for better terms for our loans. We have a chance to reap dividends from the contribution that we are going to make, because AFC is a very profit-making entity, Honorable Speaker. And most importantly, through their long-term financing that finances long-term projects like energy, like infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, it is going to lead to spur economic growth, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, the challenge we've had with some, so for example, contractors being given very huge projects, Honorable Speaker, and not being able to do because of lack of financing, Honorable Speaker, this is going to be a solution to them. Because this, the framework of the relationship between the bank and the private sector will now mean that we can build the biggest fish market and have a private contractor access financing from that AFC, and so that project is completed in a record time and gets now to yield economic growth, Honorable Speaker. Just to give an example of that fish factor, Honorable Speaker. And with that, I beg to move, and I request Honorable Mboni, one of the members of the committee, to second.
Member for Kitui Central. Kitui Rural, it is. Honorable David Mboni.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I second this motion, this is a very important motion, I want to say that Africa has really suffered under the hands of multilateral and bilateral lenders. Multilateral lenders like IMF, World Bank, have given conditions to African countries to access loans, like downsizing of public service, reforms in various sectors of the economy. And Speaker, if you recall last year during demonstration on the finance bill, IMF program on financing was based on tax revenues. And for us to access the revenue, the loans, we had to increase taxes as a condition. Because IMF are telling every countries, you have to raise your own revenues before we give you our money. And therefore, some of these conditions have brought a lot of problems in Africa. Bilateral lenders, you realize that bilateral lenders like China and other countries, they give us loans which are very expensive. And these loans have brought a lot of suffering to the economy because we are paying very high interest rates and the debt servicing has increased, therefore suffocating economic growth in this country. So AFC is actually a solution to financing challenges facing Africa because there is no conditionalities. Countries can negotiate favorable interest rates and repayment periods because AFC is financing infrastructural projects which has a very long gestation period, and therefore the interest rates has to be low so that countries will not really suffer from this. Kenya has already received $370 million since joining AFC in 2007 to finance various projects in energy, transport, and natural resources, among others. In addition, the country is planning various projects and programs at a cost of $756 million to finance wind power, energy, Ndogogudu Special Economic Zone, and the Kenya Pension Fund Investment Consortium, among others. Based on the intentions of AFC, I hand you this Honorable House to support this noble initiative. Mr. Speaker, I second.
Hello, members. The motion on the floor, which I now proceed to propose, is that this House adopts the report of the Parliamentary Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of the agreement for the establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 14th of March 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 8.4 of the Treaty Making and Ratification Act, Cap 4D, approves the ratification of the establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation. And I see the Majority Whip, the Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Baya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this motion. Honorable Speaker, the motion to, if you allow me to just refer to the correct title of the motion, ratification of the agreement for the establishment of the African Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, as a country, for many years, we have relied on a lot of multilateral and bilateral agreements and financing to spur our development and growth of this country. Honorable Speaker, the multilateral agreements that we have had have been with institutions that are outside Africa, the IMF, the IEBC, and many other institutions, Honorable Speaker, that we've relied on for financing of our projects. But there has been, from 2007, a key institution that were established in Africa that can help this country grow without necessarily taking our money or getting money outside the continent. Africa is a very rich continent, Honorable Speaker. Rich in such a way that if we put our resources together and we pull together as a continent, we can finance our projects, we can take care of the money that we need without having to go to China, without having to go to other countries, the Bretton Woods institutions, or any other institution. We can look inside Africa and get funding and get resources. But one of the things that Kenya has not done is to ratify this treaty to ensure that Kenya is a member of the African the African Finance Corporation. And therefore, this parliament, the 13th parliament that we sit in, has the one singular honor to ensure that Kenya joins the League of Nations within Africa to ensure that we are members of the African Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, as stated very ably by the leader, the mover of this motion, Honorable Speaker, there are certain advantages Kenya is one such country that should have a say in the African continent in a big way. And therefore, ratifying this treaty, Honorable Speaker, gives Kenya one of the most important things to ensure that we have continue to have a stronger regional influence. Honorable Speaker, if we ratify this treaty and this Parliament ratifies this treaty, agrees to ratify this treaty, Honorable Speaker, Kenya will continue to be one such giant nation that can influence and have a lot of support within the African continent. Look at what we have been trying to do to influence Africa in terms of climate change, to influence Africa in terms of even the recent elections of the African Chairman Union, Honorable Speaker. We need to have a lot of influence in Africa. And we need to position ourselves as that strong nation in Africa that can control a lot of things and have a lot of influence. And this is one path, Honorable Speaker, if we join the AFC and ratify this treaty. Honorable Speaker, another important thing, if you are a member of the AFC, private-owned companies and private sector will have a lot of say in Africa. Our business people, our manufacturing, our traders, can permeate every part of Africa because we are part of the African Finance Corporation, Honorable Speaker. And we will be respected as a nation. So ratifying this treaty is to earn Kenya respect within Africa and even at the global stage, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, it is very important that as a Parliament we ratify. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, one of the things that has been a bigger problem for us is very expensive loans. Expensive loans from multilateral and bilateral. And actually from the bilateral level, we have borrowed money that is very expensive, Honorable Speaker. But a dig into the African Finance Corporation will allow us to have long-term loans, low-cost loans, and they will also agree to our priorities in terms of investment. A lot of time, Honorable Speaker, you go to multilateral lenders, bilateral lenders like the United States, and they start giving you conditionalities, and they tell you we can only fund you in projects that we want you to do, and not those that you want to do. I see what President Trump is doing in the United States and telling you that we do not want to fund you. We are withdrawing. I remember during the Biden era, they tell you we will give you fund if you allow homosexuality or if you allow certain things. But you see, African tenets, African values, African priorities are properly funded from the African Finance Corporation without conditionalities that erode our culture, our heritage, and our values. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge this House to ratify this treaty so that we can gain our Africanness and be able to stand without anybody else dictating anything to us, but to support the African Finance Corporation so that we can actually put African resources together for the development of Africa. I support, Honorable Speaker.
Well said. Member for Butula. And before the member for Butula gets his microphone, all members seated at the Speaker's gallery are students from Christ the King School, Nakuru East Constituency, Nakuru County. They are welcome to follow proceedings this afternoon, honorable members, and join me in welcoming them to the August House this afternoon. Thank you. Honorable Yula.
Oh, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also add my voice to this important motion. Oh, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the ratification of the agreement on the African Finance Corporation. Mr. Speaker, Africa has had only African Development Bank for a long time, and the African Development Bank has not been able to satisfy the requirements or the needs of the African countries. So this African Finance Corporation is going to support the gap that has been remaining where African Development Bank has never been able to fill. Mr. Speaker, African Finance Corporation is a development finance institution, and it's going to support African countries in the infrastructure development, power, and other development activities. Honorable Speaker, this finance corporation is owned by the African countries. So far, it has 43 members, and the headquarters is based in Lagos, Nigeria. So, Honorable Speaker, with this formation of the African Finance Corporation, the reliance on multilateral or other bilateral expensive loans will now go down. We should ratify this so that Kenya can be a free member and be able to raise financing for our infrastructure development. It is important, Honorable Speaker, that we move away from those expensive loans. We move away from the conditions that are always provided by IMF, World Bank, before we get any financing. This is homebred institution which will not have so many conditionalities like the ones we go through with the IMF and World Bank. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge this House to support this ratification agreement so that Kenya becomes a free member and starts borrowing from the African Finance Corporation. I support this motion, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Gatanga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity I rise to support the ratification of the Kenya accession of the agreement for establishment of the African Finance Corporation. Mr. Speaker, I had an opportunity to peruse the report of the Finance Committee, and I've been able to see the arguments on the pros and the cons, especially from the people or the public who brought in their comments on this report, Mr. Speaker. My position, Mr. Speaker, is that the ratification has not come in a more better time than now, bearing in mind that countries like America, Europe, and even China are becoming now more insular. They are more focusing more on their own economies, America for America, Europe for Europe, China for China, and therefore you find that it is high time African countries create their own financial institution to support their needs, to support their growth, and in particular to ensure that those financings come without strings attached. And I appreciate that the African Finance Corporation, being a multilateral development financial institution, is dedicated to infrastructure financing in Africa as a primarily or through debt and equity. The other issue is that the corporation is focused on bridging African large infrastructure deficit by financing projects that have high developmental impact on the economies of African countries. The corporation also acts as both as a lending and advisor to clients in Africa, offering project and structured debt finance. And finally, Mr. Speaker, Kenya would gain access to significant source of capital for large-scale infrastructure projects. We have an issue here, Mr. Speaker. You find that this week, and the papers reported yesterday, the central bank was very busy and raised about 70 billion. What was the price of that money? Is between 12 and 13%. Sorry, between 13 and 14%. Mr. Speaker, we have bonds, infrastructure bond, which this country is paying between 18 and 19% to do our roads. It is not sustainable, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, you find that the African Finance Corporation is coming in to plug in so at least you can be able to face off those expensive short-term debts. Incidentally, because America has withdrawn their own financing to African countries through USAID. It's a high time we look at this issue more critically and create our own financing platform for our country, for our own situation. And Mr. Speaker, you find that this country is struggling with things like expansion of our airport. AFC comes in as a panacea for that because its role is to finance long-term, high-impact infrastructure. Things like the Mau Summit, the Rironi Mau Summit Road, which has been we've been struggling with for over the years. This is now high time AFC comes in and plug in their own money. We do an expressway from Rironi all the way to Nakuru, Eldoret, all the way to Mau Summit, and even possibly we go all the way to Kisumu. And finally, Mr. Speaker, how good it is that AFC is incorporating the private sector in its capital raising to an extent that our local banks, our local investors will have an opportunity, not only participating in the capital raising, but also in the journey of creating employment for our young people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Marakwet West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to comment on this very important document that is before this House. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the ratification of the Kenya's ascension of the agreement for establishment of the Africa Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, in this country we have a very progressive constitution. And Article 2, 5, and 6.
Member for Gatanga, what is that? Go ahead, the member for Marakwet West.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying that we have a very progressive constitution in our country, and Article 2, 5, and 6 of the Constitution provides that any international law document that is ratified by Kenya becomes or constitutes part of the laws of Kenya. So, Honorable Speaker, once we ratify this particular, the establishment of the African Finance Corporation, it means that it shall form part of the laws of this country. Honorable Speaker, this AFC, establishment of AFC is very important to our country because I have read it touches on issues to do with infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, Bretton Woods institutions, that is World Bank and IMF, we have always relied on them to support us in terms of infrastructure. But Honorable Speaker, if you compare, for example, the support that we get from AFDB, that is African Development Bank, AFDB, in terms of, for example, last mile connectivity, Kenya as a country would not be able, under the exchequer, to be able to fund the issue of last mile connectivity in this country, but AFDB has played a very significant role in supporting our country to fund certain projects. So, Honorable Speaker, AFDB so far, if you read this document, has given us 488 billion shillings, the highest in Africa. So, Honorable Speaker, we cannot be left behind. If you run through this document, Honorable Speaker, so far, 43 African countries have ratified this particular, have ratified the establishment of AFC. So, Honorable Speaker, we cannot be left out as a country. Kenya is a very progressive country in Africa. It is known for its, in terms of development that we've achieved as a country, and therefore there is absolutely no reason why we should be left behind. The only issue that I have, Honorable Speaker, if you look at page 2 of the document, in the second last paragraph, it indicates that Kenya's AFC membership was ratified by the Cabinet on 7th of April, 2017. I think that should be expunged from record because I don't think that the Cabinet ratifies such instruments. It is the National Assembly that is mandated by the Constitution and other laws to ratify. I think, in my opinion, the Cabinet approves, then Parliament ratified. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you. Member for Butere.
Honorable Speaker, I'm prepared to move the report for Public Accounts Committee. Thank you.
So the next in line is a member for the Honorable Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also stand to support this particular motion, which seeks to ratification of Kenya's accession of the agreement for establishing the African Finance Corporation. And Honorable Speaker, this is something that is actually long overdue, because this particular ratification will be able to give us consent to be legally bound by the decisions, by the terms, and also become a beneficiary of this particular treaty. Honorable Speaker, most members who have spoken have referred to the current treaty and agreement we have with the AFDB Bank. And Honorable Speaker, AFDB has been very significant for us because AFDB has 5 pillars. One of them being Light Up and Power Africa, Feed Africa, Industrialize Africa, Integrate Africa, and improve the quality of life. And Honorable Speaker, when you look at the Light Up Africa pillar of the AFDB, Kenya is said to have been the highest beneficiary of an amount equal to 488 billion. Honorable Speaker, this has enabled us to be able to actually push one of the key projects, which is the last mile connectivity. And Honorable Speaker, I have seen evidence of what this has been able to do. The other day, when the Minister for Energy visited Nyamira County, and some of the areas where they got last mile connectivity, we had old women who said since the day they were born, they have never seen electricity. So you can actually see the direct benefits of our associations with these financial institutions to the Kenyan people, because it goes directly to the people who are affected. Honorable Speaker, the committee has also highlighted about utilization of affordable local financial institutions vis-a-vis relying on the Bretton Woods institutions. And Honorable Speaker, some of the benefits of this is because it enables us to have personalized services, community connection and industrialization, and actually enable us to ensure that the lending flexibility is down to the local people. Unlike the Bretton Woods organizations like IMF and World Bank, who have a global view. Honorable Speaker, lately we have also been in a situation where, as a country, we need to start thinking and exploring other avenues of actually getting financing and donations to this particular country, because we have 2 very gaping examples. One of them being the ongoing stoppage of the donor funds for the USAID. And recently, Honorable Speaker, an issue that as the women parliamentarians, we were speaking about this morning when we were appraised of the fact that the immunization of our children is actually going to be affected because of the diminished donor funds towards that particular exercise. So, Honorable Speaker, these are some of the things that, as a country, again, I say this is something that is long overdue, because it's really going to help us to ensure that we have this. Honorable Speaker, I look at the countries who have already gone ahead of us and ratified this particular treaty. And it saddens me because Kenya is thought to be a very forward-thinking country. It's one of the most, one of the countries in Africa that has the highest literacy rate. And also it is one of the countries that has very serious issues when it comes to infrastructure that we actually need support in this space. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm really happy that we are going this direction, and not just in terms of infrastructure financing, but also, Honorable Speaker, when you look at the international trade. Kenya right now is top 3 in terms of cryptocurrency trading. And I like the fact that in particular the Finance Committee is going to bring to us a virtual assets bill, which is going to really speak into this particular space, because we are leaders in this particular market. And once we do have the specific legislations in place to support this, then this is going to be really good for us. So, Honorable Speaker, with those very few remarks, I once again want to support this motion and encourage the fact that we should go forward with this. I thank you and I submit.
Thank you. All members, seated in the Speaker's Gallery are students visiting from St. Gertrude Kinthithe Secondary School of Runyenje's constituency in Embu County. And seated in the public gallery are students from Oloirian Junior School of Kajiado West constituency in Kajiado. They are welcome to follow proceedings this afternoon and invite members to welcome them to the House this afternoon, or this evening for that matter. And I would give the Honorable Sunkuya a minute to welcome both of the schools to the August House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to welcome the Oloirian Primary School, the principal of the school, the deputy, and the entire teaching staff. This is a school of my just immediate in my village, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome. This is a parliament of Kenya. This is a great August House. It is a house of legislation, the house of representation and oversight. We do oversight. And I know that if you work hard, you will be able to be here when God given you a chance by working hard. Work hard, read hard, pull up your socks, and you will be able to be here. All great men in this country, including Honorable Sunkuya, the great men of the Republic of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, President Moi, President Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, the former Prime Minister, and many other people, including the Honorable Saitoti, were the people who came here, including Raila, the Baba, the man and the only who knows peace in this country, and the de facto of the ODM in many other great men.
Thank you.
So work hard, you will get a chance to be here.
Thank you.
This is a school that I know the school had produced many leaders across Kajiado County that are in higher offices now. I take this opportunity to congratulate you for getting this opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Not allowed to do that. We don't allow the guests to clap. Maybe there was. Yeah, we don't allow guests to clap. Sunkuya, I don't know what you told your students, but next time they should not clap. The member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want you to appreciate and understand it's a very rare occasion that the boys and the girls can sit there. So that excitement, please forgive them and allow them to revel in their appearance in this house.
They are forgiven.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also stand here to support the motion for ratification of the treaty to establish for Kenya to join African Finance Corporation. Honorable Speaker, as the mover has put it very clear, the development needs for Kenya are far too much, and we are unable to finance them using local exchequer and local generated resources. Honorable Speaker, if you remember, Brethren institutions were formed immediately after the Second World War, or around thereabout, to address infrastructure challenges that were affecting many countries after the war and those in the colonies. Over the years, Honorable Speaker, of course, we'll expect the demand on IMF and World Bank is going to be over. My enemies. Oh, Honorable Speaker, obviously, over time, we have to start looking inwards. If you hear and you see the tone of the main contributor to IMF and the World Bank, that's the US and the European countries, is now to look inwards. In fact, Honorable Speaker, in many countries now, all politicians who talk about nationalism get elected compared to those who talk about global issues. So, Honorable Speaker, it's a laudable venture for the African countries. If you look at their website, they say they were established in 2007, and it's a joint venture between private and public institutions to raise funds to undertake various to fund various development projects all over Africa. As of today, Honorable Speaker, it has got about 45 members. Some have already ratified, some have not yet ratified. And so far, they say they have disbursed close to $15 billion to projects across the 6 countries, and I have seen Kenya is one of them. That shows that they have the capacity and are progressing adequately. And let me also join the remark by the Honorable Chair that as Kenya becomes a member, becomes a shareholder, they need to look at the treaty so that all the issues that we have raised in the report are addressed before they finally sign. Because, Honorable Speaker, by the very way the Act is set, Parliament basically cannot amend, can only pass or approve with reservations. And those reservations can either be considered or not. But when you're looking at such kind of a treaty that has got very many members, the room for maneuverability becomes minimal. That's why we always urge at the very start, let Kenya participate in the drafting these treaties so that our interests are taken care of. We also just hope, Honorable Speaker, the interest rates that are being advanced to this by this institution will be market interest rates that do not hurt the economies of the African countries. Many times, you'd find that it becomes more expensive, probably borrowing from this local institution compared to international institutions. So I'd want to urge the shareholders and the managers at AFC to make sure that whenever they give funding, let it be at reasonable interest rate. But mostly importantly, Honorable Speaker, I also want to urge the leaders or the managers that many times African countries get loans, get project financing loans, but none of the projects that are meant to happen or to be financed actually end up being financed. There have been many stories that they were supposed to build 10 kilometers road. What you see is 1 kilometer road of only 3 meters wide, yet the money has been expended. So they have a fiduciary duty to ensure that as they advance funds, that the funds are used for the very purpose they were meant for. Finally, as I conclude, Honorable Speaker, as Kenya continues to borrow to finance projects, let there be equity and fair distribution of those projects throughout the country. We can't all of us shoulder the burden of paying debt, yet it's only some regions that benefit from those projects and others just become mere spectators. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
The member for Kwanza.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I think I want to first and foremost thank the Committee for Finance for coming up with this very important motion, because our country is actually a developing country. And I can tell you, I think, thinking outside the box, we, as many members have said, it's been very expensive for us to be able to develop. And historically, Kenya is the best actually country in the region in terms of development. But we have been relying on actually foreign aid, which, as mentioned severally by members who have contributed to this, Mr. Speaker, has been very expensive. And therefore, we have to think outside the box. And I want to therefore thank the Finance Committee for coming up with this particular, because it's outside the box. And I want to thank the chairman who is passing in front of me, that he has done very well to think outside the box and come up with this, because already we have 43 countries. And therefore, we are actually joining our brothers and sisters to be able to do what is required for our country. Because you go out there and if you go, Mr. Speaker, I think you have traveled outside the country, you go out and say you are from Kenya. Oh, you are from Kenya. And you know, most people, we admire to come to this country. Why? Because of the past records. But I think we'll be able to be affirming our development, and therefore I think this particular motion should be passed yesterday, not today, not tomorrow, yesterday, so we can be able to move faster and rectify this agreement so that, Mr. Speaker, so we join this and be able to, and as you know, the rates, they give us loans, and the loans are, you know, unbearable. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, again, this is a very good thing. Chairman, I think you have done very good, and congratulations for having thought outside the box, because we have been sitting here the last, I don't know how many terms, and this has not come up. So we're now rectifying this, and they want to move very fast so that can be able to benefit from this, because the rates are very good, and of course the interest rates, once they are low, of course the economy will grow faster than what it is today. And of course that again means creating more jobs and developing even further and doing things that actually the other European countries are doing. So we want to surpass countries like Germany, China, not China, but Germany, whatever, France. We want just to be equal, so that at least, Mr. Speaker, we are mentioned. Today you travel out there and you say you are coming from Kenya. I said, oh yeah, we were in Kenya some years back and you are doing very well. How are you doing now? We have nothing to say, because most of the work that we have, most of the projects we have are actually based on importation, based on foreign exchange, renting us at very expensive, and that's why, in fact, now you go to a place and they give you the exchange rate, and you can't do it. So, with those few remarks, I want to agree with this rectification, and please, the department should move faster so they can be able to move on and see what we can do on this particular motion. And I hope when it comes in third reading, we'll pass it like we have never. There will be no need even to discuss about it. I want to support this particular motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Member for Yatta.
Mimi nataka kuchukua nafasi hii nionyeshe masemeji wangu wa Kajiado ni kwa nini nilisema ndaanzisha hapa. Mimi nataka kuomba mke wangu tafadhali, kwa heshima. Wow. Changanyeti. Unaona yeye mrembo? Hakuna wawili, si ndio?
Na kumbe seneta unajua kuchagua. Macho ni kidogo kidogo, lakini unachagua sana.
Amenipa boma, amenifanya nitulie niweze kuwafikiria nyinyi. Wacha nimpatie wasalimia moja tu.
Bwana asifiwe. Bwana asifiwe tena. Watu wengi hawanijui kwa sababu mimi siendagi siasa. Nakaga kuchunga ng'ombe. Na ndio maana leo nimeona niwagawie. Pairada ndaya dhiyele ndirole mabusha ramarangisho. Mimi natoka Kajiado South. In fact, gavana wenu alilelewa kwa nyumba ya mama yangu. Kwa hivyo hata sijui kwa nini anataka kunipiga mpaka mimi. Mungu awabariki.
Aya, wacha niamushe mama mkwe. Nije shiji ya Kiswahili. Aya, angaputani hai kure. Kure ndio angaputani hai. Kurenga braga ine, si moja ni wengi. Si ndio? Nataka muone. Hawa ndio wamefanya nianze hapa Kajiado. Si ndio? Kama mtu amekupatia boma na ukakaa na akili mzima, si ni mzuri kuwakumbuka? Na hizi ng'ombe ambaye tuko hapa nazo bulls, ambaye tutapatia vijana leo. Huyu mama ndio huwa anazitengeneza, akaniambia enda peana. Enda ushogenga hiki. Alafu wengine wanataka kuja kuleta furugu hapa. Kara ganda yanga hii. Ngoja tu. Haya. Kule de yeyo. Wotu bogen. Kule kuna braga ine. Wotu. Haya, kuja mama, simama hapa. Wapi hiyo mama zangu wote? Wotu ndio mimi ndio usiogope. Kule. Mama wako mbali. Anafikiri wako mali zingine. Huyu ndio mama mkwe. Enada yanga brani ai. Ninyango ronyanga enagarai. Endo shogina hanga hiki. Pigia makofi. Haya. Na wengine watakuja wanaenda kutafuta, wakikuja nitawaita. Oh no, pigieni hawa makofi. Unajua mimi hiyo ukali yangu yote inatoka kwa hii damu hii. Unaona hii? Wenye iko mingi hii. Hawa wote ni wa mama zangu. Shemeji zangu. Ni mama yenu. Mama ya watoto wenu. Sisi wote kama Wamasai lazima tufanye nini? Tushikane. Ama namna gani? Enda doldo hisi ye.
Olama loiroshi. Olama loiroshi.
Dola jigiroshi pi.
Kabisa ndo shoinga hii jamani, ndo shoinga hii. Hawa ndio mama mkwe sasa, mama wakwe wa mheshimiwa Senator Ledamo Olekina wameleta salamu kabisa, wanampea kiss. Imekuwa kitambo tukupea hiyo. Chukua ingine ndio hiyo sasa. Ay. Jaga yangu tu dah labu yola jaga golo shangu tu ngapataka labda. Hapo wanasema wako sawa kabisa.
TV. Jia dolda dunia bogen.
Ngora dogo yana mama, ngora dogo ya.
Mama ndio wananiombeanga Mungu kila siku, na mama yangu ambaye ako Narok.
Amen.
Ndio niweze kuwapatia hizo vitu zote. Manager, endo shoinga hiki. Mabatoni. Now, leo niko na ofisi yangu hapa. Wapi watu wa ofisi yangu? Kujeni hapa. Na mimi nataka kujua ile kitu mlikuwa mnataka kupatia watu ni nini. Kuja. Lakini kabla hawajakuja, mimi nataka kuuliza swali moja. Tumekubaliana wote tutashirikiana na tufanye na serikali ambayo iko sasa. Hebu inua mkono kama umekubali wote. Wote wamekubali, si ndio? Hakuna hata mmoja ataenda nje, si ndio? Ndio tupate pia sisi. Peike New York. Manager. Ashono mama hiyo ndio na bage ngariak tongura run. Mnataka kufanya hivyo? Haya, msijali ndege inaenda, msijali wacha iende. Kuja. Kolede, wapi ofisi yangu? Amka bwana. Unaketi hapo kama nini haraka?
Ngovi se Senate. Ngovi se Senate.
Na wale ambao walikuwa wameleta shida na wanaondoka, waombeeni Mungu, waambie Mungu awabariki. Ama Mungu awasamee. Semeni Mungu awasamee.
Mungu awasamee. Nje bali yanga hii.
Haya, kujeni hapa. Take over the mic for the surprise of students. The surprise for students.
Messi Sieso. Mbele yenu ni team ya Macom, together with the staff from Parliament, Loa Sisho Renebo, Senator Lenarok, Senator Ledamo Lekina, Ode Neweji, Angera Olmasai, Nadia Neweji na Renebo, Senator Lenarok, na Ode Dora, Aero Senator, and Dogna Torigine Ligidai, Era Dora surprise, Tangana Genkera, Ekajado County. Senator, my boss, you forgot something. So from Narok County all the way to Kajiado County, my boss, Senator Ledamo Olekina, has a surprise for the students of Kajiado County. Take over, boss.
Thank you very much. Now, let me see what this is. Tufungue hii ndio tuweze kuona hii surprise ambaye tumeletea wanafunzi ngelo orma saya Kajiado mena Narok na jonyo
inakaa ni hundi. Wameletewa hundi ama check ya shilingi milioni ngapi?
Milioni mbili.
Endo shikai la Maasai gore ngere sukula do shikai.
Endo shikai bagen. Ore kuna ropiani na kuna gara na tiakita. Ore kiboy shondo monok nikinjo ngangitie. Nati abori tada mulelero. Tada munya
vijana.
Kumbuka vijana. Kwa sababu vijana ndio wawezi kupata msaada. Leo hii tumesema hii pesa tumeshikana na KCB Bank, tumetoa shilingi milioni 2 ambaye itagao namna hii. Wale wadalale kutuk, kwa sababu hao ndio wametuhost. Hao ndio wamefanya nini? Wametuhost, ndio? Vijana 20 watapewa kila moja shilingi 20,000.
Endo shoginga jamani.
Alafu twende Kisongo. Pia hao vijana 10 wapewa shilingi 20,000. Twende Kaputiei. Vijana 10 wapewa also 20,000.
Galusri tikitam.
Ama what is it? Is it senior? It's like that. Nimekorektio na ofisi pia. Tumesema hivi. Wanafunzi ambaye ni wa vijana wa Masai kutoka Kisongo, Dalale Kutuk, Kaputiei, Matapato na pia Purko. Na Purko unajua wamegawanyika mara 2. Kuna wale independent. Wale independent wako wapi? Golo Purko Lankaroni. Kole enda. Lolanda. Hata nyinyi vijana 20 ambaye wako katika university.
Munaldamat.
Tuhakikishe ya kwamba tumeinua hao vijana. Mbaba na. Mnachukia hii? Simpige makofi na. Na hii haikuanza juzi, asanteni, ketini chini. Hii haikuanza juzi. Hii ilianza zamani. Mimi nataka kukaribisha msichana yako hapa, Roda, karibu na dada yako. Ndio muone tukishikana vizuri. Tutaenda wapi? Ama namna gani? Waragene mbonga. Niki arildonyo. Ama namna gani? Roda, kuja. Na huyu msichana. Back in 2003. Huyu msichana naye huyu dada yake niliwapata wakiwa shule. Nikawa sponsor, sikuwa nawajua. Wakati nilikuja hapa ndio mama akaniambia, "Oi, nilikuwa naomba Mungu tu hii siku ifike ndio niweze kukuona." Roda, nataka useme kama ni kweli ama si kweli. Nini nilifanya?
Na wasalimu wote kwa jina la Yesu. Amjambo. Nashukuru Mungu kwa siku ya leo. Mimi ndio naitwa Roda. Back in 202 Ledama alikuja shule nikiwa Moi Girls, akatafuta wale watoto walikuwa chini na hakuwa anajua mtu. Principal akatuita, tukaandikwa majina, akatulipia school fees from 202 mpaka tukamaliza. Akaenda Olosios, akapata sister yangu huyu mwenye ananifuata, hata yeye akachaguliwa na principal, akasomeshwa from form 1 mpaka form 4. Na ndio na confirm kwamba Ledama mtu wa kusema na kutenda. Yeah. Na kwa hayo Mungu atakubariki, na kile unafanya ni wa maombi ya wale watoto uliwainua. Mungu akubariki sana.
Aya, asante sana. Now, kwa sababu kuna nafasi inaelekea sana. Na unajua program ilikuwa inaenda tofauti. Lakini wakati niliona kuna kayuyu, nikasema nifanye nini? Nishike nini? Take over. Mimi tumeshamaliza swala moja. Kiara Ramongi loti yene. No, Lengok, Piwa Saiwal. Ambaye leo hii tutawapatia vijana wa hapa. Okay? Wa Kajiado County. Vijana ambao wameshikana. Mimi nitahakikisha nimewafundisha biashara ndio hii maskini iishe. Ukitaka perepepe, enda tafuta mwingine. Ukitaka maendeleo, tafuta Ledama. Ama namna gani? Na hii mambo unaona tunafanya hapa, tutafanya Masaini yote. Amwere jabala dogoya. medanya lukunya na bonyo. Meisha lukunya na bonyo. Engeno. Mimi ile akili niko naye, ile ambaye niko naye, nikichukua kutoka ile ambaye nyinyi mko naye, tunaenda mbele na tunapigania Wamasai wetu rasilimali zile za kuwasaidia. Ama namna gani? Mimi ya jambo la pili ambaye ningeomba ni kwamba nafikiri kuna watu wanakuja na mziki hapa hivi. Ule mtu anakuja na mziki hapa, wewe kuja tu. Kesho huyo mwenye amekutuma hata kuwa hapo wakati wewe unaoza katika jela. Na chezea ile dama tu. Mimi nitakufuata mpaka kwa kunyumba ya mama yako, nikutoe usiku. Nihakikishe umelimwa sawa sawa. Uache mbebeno. Hapa tuko maneno ya kumaliza umaskini. Ama namna gani? Si tunamaliza maskini. Si mmetoka Kajiado yote. Mnakuja Kajiado yote ili tuendelee mbele ama unakuja ndio tufanye hivi kitu. Now, Mark, take care of that. Kama kuna hiyo perepepe, deal with that. Now, leo tulisema tuko na mbuzi ambaye ziko hapa. Hii mbuzi ni 180. 100 mbuzi 10 zitabaki kwa huyu mzee. Wao dieni. Owene. Mamai owene. Owene. Kayoni jinga na mwarara nigelaki kon gineji tomon. Enda ujichagulie mbuzi ngapi? 10. Ambaye pia wewe utatukumbuka kwa sababu pia wewe hukusikia ile mambo watu walikuwa wanasema mbaya ukatukaribisha. Na mimi nimefurahi sana. Na kwa sababu umetukaribisha, sisi pia tumesema tutakupa ndume moja na utaingia ujichagulie hapo. Na tutakupa mbuzi 10 wa kike ndio uweze kuendelea kusaidia watoto wako. Wewe imani ina? Mbaba ina? Yeah. Ona begala do mautia mana ataka yuyu. Yeah. Walikuwa ni nini mbaya nao? Yeah, sio ni ujinga tupu. Si ndio? Haya. Tije ngadiende. Lete wapi Mushai? Wapi ile kamba? Nataka mzee akuje na ile ng'ombe. Ile ndume atachagua aingie hapa ajitolee. Si ndio? Alete mpaka hapa. Ndio muone ya kwamba ile vitu tunafanya ni vitu ya maajabu. Unajua kuna watu wengi wajui kupeana kwa sababu wamekuwa kiiba kila siku. Sasa wakisikia mtu anapeana anaanza kusema makayuyu. Unasema tu bure kabisa. Wapi hiyo? Tije ngene wewe dakala wako olengoni. Nene wao imene. Wapi nani? Dola naona yuko na joto mbaya. Wale. Haya, ingia huko Mushai. Na mzee atoke na ndume yake alete mpaka hapa. Yes. Abana ngoja. Attention yote weka hapo ndani. Take a like on. Unaona mzee hapo anajichagulia. Haya, Mushai, kwa nini kuna hiyo Masai? Wewe lesiti nyingende. Saidia mzee. Ele. Haya, shuma. Haya ngoja, relax bwana. Funga hiyo. Kwa nini yoko? Dole lengoni. Ya, edesera basi pigia mama makofi. Ameweza kuweka alama yake. Sawa sawa? Haya, twende kando kidogo. Mama, kuja pande hii na mzee. Lakini Mushai, tafuta vijana wawili ambaye si waoga. Nataka hiyo ndume ifungwe kamba iletwe hapa ndio kila mtu aone. Meneja? Sio ni ukweli? Haya, ngoja kidogo kuja. Mamai, kayo ni jinga na mwadada. Mushai, chukua kamba 10. Mama atoe mbuzi yake akuje nazo hapa. Hii ndio jambo ambaye tunatakiwa tufanye. Ama namna gani? Imenimena na? Mnapenda? Ile BCC hata kama mnapenda yote. Mnapenda hii kabisa? Very good. Enda joge mba itio sena. Kile jo osena shindwe katika jina la Yesu. Nora lunga la osena shindwe katika jina la Yesu. Meneja. Wale nanu ida sherene. Ka bagene wena kira ida sheje. Meda haja balo dua ayana lekai. Engoki nendo dua kata Wala kulorongana wakiraisi mama linyi. Watapata ledama. Nitatuanga hao vizuri, ngoja utaona. Tijenga siendi. Mama toa mbuzi yako yote hapo. Take la iko on. Chagua. Hii ni revolution, si ndio? Revolution ya nini? Ya Masai Nation. Sisi hatuachwi nyuma tena. Mtakubali mwacho nyuma tena? Yeah. Hapana. Hii ndio. Wapi ule jamaa alikuwa anafanya ile video? Wapi? Hebu kuja kidogo. Uli edit ile? Did you finish edit? Eh? The one for the butchery. Okay, can you play it? I want it played. Haya. Na sasa mama akichagua mbuzi zake hapa, mimi nataka kuambia, jana usiku nilikuwa na mheshimiwa Ole Sakuda. Alikuja tukaenda naye kichinjio. Ile nyama yote mmekula hapa na ile chakula yote mmekula hapa. Mheshimiwa Sakuda alinisaidia tukaenda kuchinja hiyo ng'ombe yote. Na leo hii nataka kuambia Wamasai, ile kitu ambaye tuko naye ni dhahabu katika ekonomia yetu. Nilianza na kuzungumza maneno ya siasa, si ndio? Nilisema siasa tunaenda mrango moja, ama namna gani? Si umekubaliana na mimi? Na nikamwambia katika Kajiado County tuko na candidate wetu wa governor ambaye ni Kato Ole Metito. Si nimesema hivyo? Ora lebane la gorgon. Si nimesema hivyo? Na ifike hapo. Kwa sababu yeye ndiye ako katika serikali na yeye ndiye ako kwa ODM. Na mimi nawaambia hivi. Tukua Wamasai tumekuwa katika ODM. Raila ndiye ametusaidia. Si ametusaidia kwa miaka mingi? Na sasa ameshikana na nani? Na Ruto. Niende niambie Raila na Ruto nini? Akumbuke nini? Na Wamasai wako na nini? Hebu muonesha pamoja. Fanya pamoja. Si ndio? Hii movement hakuna mtu ataichezea. Hakuna. Wacha mama akiendelea kuchagua. So nimezungumza maneno ya siasa. Tunaenda mrengo moja ya katika kusaidia serikali ambaye Raila anaisaidia. Hiyo tumemaliza. Tick. Manager. Na ni broad based government. Naye hao Raila na Ruto pia wahakikisha kwamba wameandika watoto wa Masai. Migboda aga shogurumuru wa kwesho. Hakuna. Kibwaya ipo tundokitinang. Pia sisi lazima tushikane ndio tuweze kuhesabiwa. Tunataka PSS ama namna gani? Mtapata PS mkienda huko nje kusema mnaanza kuanzia makupati zenyu. Ama mpaka msaidie hii ambaye yuko saa hizi. Mtapata itumutumu. Taja migitumu. Na yangu mimi nataka PSS, mimi nataka Mheshimiwa Ruto na Raila wasikie. Wamasai wamesema watawasaidia lakini tunataka PSS. Tunataka MD. Tunataka CSS. Tunataka mabarabara. Na si promise after promise, hapana. Ukisema promise na ufikishi ledama anaenda na wote nje. Ama namna gani? Megi sujusira na. Au mwanda yambo ngagia na. Ikimungagia na. Kabisa. Na rangaida mkairosho na ndo ni dama. Mchana ndio mimi nasema maneno yangu. Si usiku. Wacha mama atoke akitoka hivi. Now, DJ, wapi ule umeweka ile nini? Iko video nataka ichezwe hapa. Wapi ule kijana alipatia hiyo nini? Haya, sasa tunaingia katika sehemu ya economy. Tunaingia katika sehemu ya nini? Economy. Tukiingia katika sehemu ya economy, Mheshimiwa Sakuda, njoo hapa tafadhali. Kuja hapa kidogo. Harakisha. Wewe twende. Twende kazi. Wakati mama anakuja. Sasa jana hii mzee alinifuata usiku. Akanipigia simu. Unajua ile shida tunakuanga naye sisi wa Masai, tunapenda kulala sana. Tunalala sana. Huyo mzee akanipigia simu saa 8 ya usiku. Mimi nilikuwa kichinjio. Nikitengeneza ile chakula mnakula hapa. Lakini mimi nataka kumpatia microphone tukiongea na yeye, awaambie ile vitu waliona na venye aliambiwa, alafu tutaonesha hapa kwenye video. Kwa sababu kutoka leo mimi nataka kufundisha nyinyi kutengeneza pesa. Ama namna gani? Mheshimiwa Sakuda, kwanza salimia hao na ufuate instructions.
Ashole Mheshimiwa Ledama. Amairo rogunoro tindai. Pog lebu nyanganya nolungani pogin. Tusalimiane. Amena gigwana na yaga duora yo Ledama. Kenyo riyok aneme nyoriyok. Yola dola simabegi miemba sawa. Amana na naide ba rejo. Lo maasai kulo. Kenyo riyok aneme nyoriyok.
Aya, ngoja kidogo. Mheshimiwa Sakuda anauliza swali moja. Hii mambo ambaye Mheshimiwa Ledama amelete, inawapenda wa Maasai ama iwapendi? Mnasema inafanya nini? Inatupenda.
Wangapi wanasema hebu inueni mikono yenu yote kusema ya kwamba
ngoja kidogo. Mama wao.
Yedo ndari.
Yedo.
Uyendo sokile orikisi ngaya dadu. Ndio sokile ngani kai.
Pigieni mama. Wale ambaye wanasemanga ngoja kidogo. Wanasemanga mgeni akuje mwenyeji afanye nini?
Apone.
Haya. Sasa leo hii sisi tunapatia
sisi no.
Haya. Wapi mtu wa ofisi yangu?
Haya,
Sharon kuja. Haya, ngoja kidogo. Hawa mbuzi wote leo hii tutapatia wale wanyonge, wale mafamilia ambaye iko chini kabisa, si ndio? Hiyo ndio lodi ya bori. Sasa katika leo asubuhi hizi mbuzi zote ziliwekwa alama. Na mimi nataka ofisi yangu iweze kuandika ile manamba ya hii mambuzi, kwa sababu iko alama kutoka 100 mpaka 80. Na ile ambayo imechukuliwa na huyu mama aandikiwe namba zake, alafu ndio mbuzi. Yeyo. Enaro gidi sinana ishoreta. Amuguto kitanga mwada ngangino. Nikinje woji. Nerabagir Maasai lomon sidain. Wendo giduo na yo. Na agaja ashe. Njo gido bigo yankai. Na jo kisiolo borwenke ene. Asho lenga mwinda shana olarikoni. Oisiriri. Lemere ndogi na ure. Kelio rajo rababi kibuti. Ni agwa la iguana ni lomishira kupesi. Keyo labar Maasai ne yo lanar siriti. Ino. Aje agwa lungani lo itashi. Kema yana ngai. Ore sinyana giditoki. Wala doye ngoni. Ninyagi njosi ye ana ormare nikijashe. Sisi tumempatia huyu mzee.
Wapi makofi endo.
Twende hivi mbele. Leta hivi mbele. Waje ikatwalk, leta ikatwalk hapa. Ango bonga dai. Haya, shika ikatwalk. Kuja. Kwani una yoga ile? Wewe. Yero. Wewe. Peleka hivi sana. Waje ikatwalk ndio Kenya yote ione. Unaona? Hii ndio mali ya Wamasai hii. Hii ndio mali ya. Haya, DJ, uko tayari kwa kucheza hiyo video? Wewe boss, uko tayari? Okay, go ahead. Haya, sasa maliza, ndio nataka tuone kitu kwa hapa. Hiyo ndio zawadi ambaye sisi tumeletea wale ambaye wametukaribisha. Ndio hii. Pigieni hao makofi, wamepata kitu mzuri. Now, wapi Sharon? Umeandika hii manamba, si ndio? Yuko manamba yao yote. Now, kule bishop, wale meli. Menye bishop, ngoja kidogo wale meli. Kule dia la rasa lanang. Mzee, mimi nilisema wewe Mungu amekubariki, lakini kuna wengine wako chini. Mimi nataka uniambie familia moja ambaye iko chini sana. Chini kwa kimaisha, pia sisi tuweze kuwabariki. Keji ngai nang. Tolimu. Katika ole muonga. Kore katika ole muonga. Wapi? Wapi katika ole muonga? Wapi hiyo familia? Yeah. Kore. Haya, katika ole muonga. Kuja. Wapi hiyo familia? Meere ngaju. Nasikia hata ako disabled. Mimi nataka kumuona akuje. Kore. Haya. Kuja. Kwa mara ilinyi. Wapi Canada ashunga. Ana. Aya. Huyu mama pia yeye she's disabled. Sindio? Mamai. Kayo nilimogon. Mimi nataka utuambie wewe ni nani? Huyu mzee katika dalala kutoka wamesema wewe uko chini. Mimi kama Ledama na familia yangu na ofisi yangu na marafiki wangu tumesema pia si tukuje tukusaidie. Na leo hii tutakupa mbuzi 4 wa kike. Pigia makofi. Ama mbuzi na kondoo, na utaingia pale utajichagulia. Ukishajichagulia, kwa sababu mzee amesema anakujua na huyu mzee ndiye amekuchagua kwa hii boma, utakuja kuzichukua kutoka kwake. Lakini mimi nataka uniambie, kwa sababu leo nataka umaskini fanye nini? Ishe. Haya, tuongeleshe kidogo. Kwa na hii microphone. Tausie. Lete. Tuambie.
Mrs. Yesora.
Bwana asifiwe.
Wale rongarna gaji Charity.
Anaitwa Charity.
Narela Kangole Monga.
Kutoka familia ya Monga.
Wale lara sana mzee kijiji lai.
Huyu ni mzee kijiji wake.
Karana ndomono ni onkiarare.
Mimi ni mama wa watoto wawili.
Karanga yene junior.
Niko na kijana wa junior.
Na ngera ye PP2.
Na niko na mtoto wa PP2.
Na mayama.
Na sijaolewa.
Na mara pabala roiwo.
Na sina baba ambaye amenizaa.
Wale ndasana rana ge murwo.
Ule mama ambaye ni mama mkwe ni mzee.
Najua ngole la rasa tia pa ishorindo na grala da masho pare ramu kare roi. Na mara siesi ai.
Akasema hana kazi. Lakini usijali, Mungu ametulete ili tuweze kuja kutusaidia. Sawa sawa? Sasa mimi nakuombea Mungu. Hii imetoka kwa roho safi. Nataka uchukue hizo, ni za kike. Uende uzilinde. Mungu akijalia kabla mwaka ijaisha watakuwa 8. Meneja? Si ndio? Watakuwa ngapi? 8.
Nero kisia jogile dama tindi mai pare ramgaro shikanyengo shengejo. Nanga merakininde kikuyu ela kionkalifuni tomon.
Asante. Mimi mama ameomba tumnunulie mguu na sisi katika ofisi yetu tutamnunulia mguu. Si ndio? Sawa sawa? Asante mama. Ingia pale. Usijali. Hii ni maneno ya dunia. Vitu vitakuwa bariki. Hiyo ni mzuri. Pigieni Mungu makofi. Mungu ndiye anafanya hii, si Ledama. Ni Mungu anafanya hii. Haya. Tuende sasa. Kayuna ne yolu wengayang. Haya. Chief. Tafadhali chief kuja hapa. Leta hiyo majina hiyo. Emesida ina. Ashumene mena ina. Amen agarana de gelwagi. Sini number 1. Si number 1. Unajua ile mimi napendewa Masai wanainua wala watu wako chini. Na sasa hii ndio the real bottom up. Ama namna gani? Hii ndio the real bottom. Tunasaidia hawa. Haya, bwana chief tuambieze, lete nione. Na uniambia hawa ni kina nani? Katika kayo ayaduda. Haya. Haya. Kore engale naji Senderua Lilian. Wapi Senderua Lilian? Huyo mama ako wapi? Senderua Lilian? Anole kama kore iye. Hayuko hapa? Ama hata kuweza kufika? Haya, ndaita mwingine. Wapi Esther Letangues? Kore Esther, kaya nana kana lutu. Haya, kuja. Wewe sema unaitwa nani? Kuja. Haya mabeda. Na utaingia pale utajichagulia. Kuja hapa. Toli mogon. Kuja useme wewe ni nani. Patia ya microphone. Wewe ne. Ende mara Kiswahili.
Bwana asifiwe.
Amesema Bwana asifiwe bwana.
Rongarna gaji Lilian.
Anaitwa Lilian.
Karana Kangole Kema.
Yeye ni wa familia ya Kema.
Na Karengo Liai.
Na yeye hana bwana. Miure. Ndashagie. Simama vizuri. Aya. Aya, pigieni mama makofi, asante sana. Mama, leo hii pia sisi tumesimama. Kenga yana? Aya, ngoja kidogo. Huyu mama hana bwana. Na najua chief, she's a widow. Hawa wanakusumbuanga sana kwa mashida. Lakini leo Mungu pia ametupatia maoni ili tukuje tuwasaidie. Mama yangu, ingia pale, chagua mbuzi yako 4. Pigieni ya makofi. Tuko na mwingine anaitwa Esther. Esther ni nani? Haya, kuja hapa. Sema jina yako na mahali umetoka.
Mrs. Yes of Oregon.
Amesema Bwana asifiwe wote.
Kajina no Esther Letagwes.
Huyu anaitwa Esther Letagwes.
Airohaya bwana noroba yan 2023.
Alipoteza bwana yake 2023.
Narono leng nangiri.
Amekaa
lakini ore na nendo na omono na baishorie siai.
Ore megari serara. Ore ndo kinigara na nimiwe na ishore legai. Kama namna gani? Bas. Sijinga nende tekela yako. Tumalize maneno. Haya. Kialekaloji katika ikayo. Hiyo ndio biashara sasa hiyo. Ukichukua hiyo, huyu ameshachukua. Silau Samba, wapi Silau Samba? Wapi Silau Samba? Meneja. Baka uoneshe venye utafanya nini? Utafanya kazi na mkono yako. Ama namna gani? Wapi Silau Simba? Karibu haraka kada. Biga darishada. Haya. Kore yanga inaji Emily Karusiei. Emily, wapi Emily? Emily. Haya. Ukiitwa jina yako ukae karibu. Haya mzee, asante sana. Keti chini. Chief, shika hii, tutamaliza hii. Wakikuja tutamaliza. Mzee, huwa ni nono, igero namba inono. Ni hago indi mnechi wege mwarada alafu ichukue. Sasa nataka kupeana ndume moja. Wapi ile youth group? Kore iye mzee, wewe ne. Chief, kuja hapa. Tahore ne. Mabe. Kuja. Wapi ile youth group ya Dallas? Wapi youth group ya Dallas? Kore na youth group. Kore or Barnot. Yeah. Keji nyo. Na Sibyl? Haya, wapi wale vijana wa Dallas hapa? Kule ndai. Nataka tumalize na Dallas alafu ndio twende mahali nyingine, si ndio? Keji nyo? Haya, tuharakishe. Bwana
Sibyl, ulturule yolo jana Sibyl.
Bishop Meli kuja. Nyinyi kaeni chini mjajipanga. Vijana watakuja baadaye. Kuja. Tuendelee mbele. Abi. Bishop kuja. Wala gwana ni? Enda ndende. Aibodo ndai. Baadaye Bishop microphone. Baadaye. Bishop, nataka ututajie ile mafamilia ya matapato ambayo wako chini sana.
Landoi, leta hiyo list.
Wapi hiyo list?
Kuja haraka. Hakesha baroi. Kia maro hengina ranga inga ramba.
Kule nana. Wapi nana? Kuja kidogo wakati wanaimba.
Landoi. Kule landoi.
Haya kuja. Haya DJ. Wacha nana tufurahishe kidogo. Ama namna gani? Juu tumekaa sana, si ndio? Umeona maajabu. Haya, nana take over DJ. Cheza na nana.
Mama, nisiangai. Munitafutia landoi.
Ngoda hapo.
Bye.
Jehovah Shammah, Ninyageti, Jehovah Jireh, Wargingi, Wargingi. Nadu, Emmanuel Ninyanga Nanya, Hangaira Navayo, Aina Sanga Ninyangisia, Nadu, Nangisolara.
Ashera endo shogina nanga pigia nana makofi tuendelee na kazi yetu. Lanoi. Twende tumeita Lanoi. Nataka mheshimiwa abaki hapa.
Kuja Lanoi.
Wacha huyu mheshimiwa abaki hapa. Pigieni makofi huyu mheshimiwa. Huyu mheshimiwa ni mtu anapenda maendeleo sana. Baki hapa kabisa. Wewe ngoja, siasa itafika. Ngoja kidogo. Kuja. Haya, lete.
Sawa.
Huyu rapatoa wetu kuja. Wewe kuja wewe. Saidia mimi hapa. Maras pokikia radi sai kila lagra kuna maudia sai TV sai yare. Nyako maitumia na sai bogen. $1 ma sai.
Sawa.
Manager. Amana kadala. Melas mana $1 ma sai. Nani yodi ngi dal TV wenda chore ne. Tingi dara mweni nyi, si ndio? Haya.
Matapato South in Mirisho Youth Group.
Kwele Mirisho Youth Group to Matapato South.
Watu haraka.
Kwele kulo Mirisho Youth Group. Kwele.
Kena merira ne girorindai.
Lo Mirisho. Kwele. Mendo yeshan goriong TV.
Osa.
Haya.
In Mirisho.
Haya, ashukin jor Mirisho bera nyisho. Si ndio? Kingasa shabara nyisho. Basi woru na Mirisho. Wapi hawa? Kwele kulo Mirisho. Ngoja kidogo ya usiana. Kwele deko lo. Haya. Haya, ndo rashe. Kwele Mirisho. Basi woru na. Basi elevia na siara na elevia siara kabisa. Basi kabisa. Enyi rode ngolo.
Can I release speakers to support?
Yeah, later. I'll call you. Oh, radio. Bas. Ora de ngolo Mirisho. Haya, basi ashero oleg. Ndo shagran Mirisho. Asante sana. Kwele na youth group, or Mirisho. Basi amalonda. Basi. Habari gani? Haya, ngoja kidogo. Kwele kulo Matapato.
Families, sawa.
Haya.
Sawa.
Kuja. Haya.
Ame kuna ondari kwanza.
Haya.
Kore Sibilon.
Uradi negimpoti nilo tu.
Sibilon le mondo ikore. Ya gracia gu. Sayon tubet. Kundayo tutado.
Haya.
Waudare naiboro.
Endo ndade de. Kore kakwa kulo.
Nembarnat.
Kakwa kulo.
Lois. Nabelel. Natengena.
Basi jina yako ikiitwa ukuja mapema haraka haraka.
Enda sioku.
Mimi ndo kidia maana linalo.
Matapato South.
Haya, ngoja kidogo. Nimepata mama moja. Kama mama na.
Kejina ingai. Sibilon sawa.
Kutoka aji?
Matapato South.
Haya, huyu mama ametoka Matapato South. Matapato North. Toli musie kon.
Toli muke kon.
Isangai.
Haya, ngoja kidogo. Enda shule nyuma kidogo. Haya, mama anasema Bwana asifiwe. Anaitwa Elizabeth. Ndashasi yeye ne. Mama besiye, enjo msiendo ndo nilidie. Endo ndo kayolo. Minjali. Mama amesema pia yeye hana bwana. Anashukuru Mungu leo. Kwa sababu amejibu amesema Mungu atamwangalia. Asante kwa ledama. Mungu akubariki, asante. Asante mama yangu. Kule ningo wewe wapi Carlos? Peleka hii mama achague mbuzi yake ine hapo. Sawa? Irmirishi. Haya, tono na nadi. Keti pale. Haya.
Irmirishi, reto kore nai.
Reto. Sawa. Kore importanga yang.
Haya, kore nai sibilon.
Dona gerende.
Sibilon lemondoi kore.
Kore sibiloi.
Kigiro. Kore. Tasi hakuna mindogira yarari.
Haya, hebu wewe watu wote watoke hapa hivi mnasimama hapa. Enjo mbode ne. Hebu ngade ne. Enjo mende. Hii watu wote watoke hapa. Wote. Na pia wale wako huko nyuma watoke pande ya nyuma. Askari, toa hiyo watu acha kuniangalia. Nimekuambia utoe ya watu. Watoke wazunguke pande ile. Sawa? Endelea hapo. Wewe enjo mde tokeni pande hiyo. Uwezi chukua mbuzi ambaye si yako. Hapa ngati ne. Mama hii. Wow. Yeyo.
Mara arbayan.
Haya, maibanga siere ne. Toka yani. Toka pande hii.
Mara.
Boss, can you move these people? Huyu mama ameitwa, wacha aingie hapa. Kuja. Mama hii, wow.
Oh, namusana neji na belel na tengena. Agaraba analnya kusi yojo na tengena ranalo elambalagai. Na yo na banana na egerugi na gajo yagela dama ashe tendogi na.
Mama anasema asanti kwa sababu pia ameweza kupata kitu. Iweze kumsaidia pia yeye. Amefurahi sana. Amesema alikuwa na shida mingi lakini itamsaidia sasa. Mama anaitwa nani?
Narengana.
Yeah. Anaitwa na?
Napelel natengana.
Mama huyu pia yeye, ingia mama pale uchague mbuzi yako ine. Wewe tufudi nini? Tokeni hapo nyinyi.
Keje ngai. Sayon sawa.
Wewe mbangate ne. Toka hapo. Mbanga.
Ewa ngaro ndai
bodo. You cannot move people, I will move them myself. And I do.
Enajoki ni randa ndoroni, ni roni ni tankanyit. Ama anairuki mpoti, toro na tankanyit. Ende rengata.
Haya. Mama sema jina yako kama unaongea Kiswahili, ongea haraka haraka twende.
Nisisi Yesu.
Bwana asifiwe.
Nani ajisayo tupe?
Pia huyu mama pia yeye leo anaitwa Sayo Kupeni.
Na Arbayan. Arbayan.
Yeye kuna bwana.
Ekeshalage
lakini wako chini sana kimaisha.
Kiarangero ngwan.
Wako na watoto 4.
Na ngera inabaye kisumari arwa na.
Lakini wamesoma mtoto mmoja peke yake. Basi mama leo nakupa mbuzi 4 ndio uweze kuanza kusaidia ili pia uweze kusoma watoto wengine. We, chukua huyo mama aende ajichagulia huko. Haya, karibu mama. Relax. Haya. Mama, unaitwa nani mama? Namba kutoka wapi? Bishop kuja hapa ndai. Mibonga yare. Twende. Huyu mama ni wapi? Umetoka pande gani? Jina yake iko hapa? Haya, toa jina yake. Haya, kuja chukua number net Lois mama. Wawe mama, shida yako ni nini wewe? Ngorage.
Lois Yeso. Jina namba na Lois.
Amesema jina yake?
Aiwa mile 9.
Ametoka mile 9. Unajua mile 9 ni wapi? Matapato, si ndio? Si ni mbali sana? Haya.
Naira bayina mama yanangai.
Asante. Oye, yara bayan?
Mara bayan.
Haya, pia yeye hana bwana. Sehemu hii ya leo tumehakikisha kwamba we support widows and also those children who do not have their own parents, because we have to uplift their standard of living. Ama namna gani? Si umefurahia hiyo? Haya mama, enda pale chukua mama huyu na mchunge hapo. Mwingine akiingia hapo utoe yeye. Wapi mama mwingine anaitwa Nandoye? Na mkubalia mama akuje Nandoye. Haya. Harakisha. Wakati hao wanaitwa, mimi ningeomba muite hii watu wote wakuja wasimame hapa ndio tuweze kuwapatia. Bwana DJ, iko sehemu, iko video ambayo nilikuwa nimeweka hapo. Mimi nataka kufunza hawa Masai ambao wamekuja hapa kutembea kwa muda mrefu ya kwamba ng'ombe, mifugo ndio dhahabu yenu ile ambayo mko naye. Hebu cheza hiyo clip. Can you play the clip? Wapi yule jamaa? Haya, twende kamera. Can you play the clip? Hapa jana ni jana usiku. Weka sound, iko na sound hii kitu. Haya, ngoja nataka muwatch kidogo na sound. Sound. Please weka sound. Haya, nataka muone hii kidogo. Hii hapa ni kichinjio. Na kila siku kuna hii kichinjio iko mahali inaitwa Juja. Na kila siku mbuzi zaidi ya 4,000 ambaye mingi yao imetoka Narok inachinjwa, inauzwa nchi za kigeni. Ni kichinjio ambayo ukiangalia iko safi kabisa. Sisi watu wa Kajiado na watu wa Narok, mbona hatuna kichinjio yetu? Mbona hatuna? Kama tungekuwa na hiyo kichinjio, tungekuwa tunaenda Kiambu County. Lakini nimeshikana na hawa, inaitwa Juja International. Hawa wanatusaidia na wananunua nyama. Na leo hii waliniambia nikuje niambie wa Masai, munakalia dhahabu. Nilikuwa nimekuambia you edit that section. I don't know why you are playing. Very good. Now, ukiangalia hii kichinjio, ile mbuzi ambayo inauzwa hapo hainunuliwi na Kenya shillings, inanunuliwa na dollars. Lakini nyinyi wa Masai, sisi wa Masai, mabrokers wamekuwa wengi, wanaenda wanauza huko, wananunua, wanaangalia mbuzi moja na kuambia hii ndakupatia 5,000. Hapa wanaenda kuuza kwa kilo. Waliniambia jana niwaambie nyinyi wa Masai, na hii serikali ambayo nimesema tutashikana naye, ni lazima iwafunze, iwe mushikane kama groups, ndio mkuze ng'ombe, mbuzi. Wakati mimi nasimama hapa, ng'ombe yangu moja inanipa lita 45 kwa siku. 45 liters. Kwa siku tunakamua lita 1,500. Na hiyo maziwa tunauza pesa mingi. Sisi, hii mwenendo ambaye nimeshika ni kuhakikisha hata nyinyi wa Masai, ile mbuzi mnauza huko, play the next clip. Ile ambayo mnauza hapa nataka muone wakichinja. Na muone iko safi. Ile mbuzi ambaye mnauza inanunuliwa na hiyo dollars. Na nyinyi mnashikana kama vijana kwa sababu ile kitu mko naye ni gold. Dhahabu. Megirango. Ni nini? Dhahabu. Ile ng'ombe tulichinja jana, tulichinja karibu ng'ombe 50, kilo yake ilikuwa kidogo sana. Sasa ni lazima government invest kwa extension services workers, agricultural extension officers, ndio waweze kuja kusaidia wa Masai kujua kulisha hao wanyama vizuri. Mimi nikipeleka ndume yangu moja inatoa kilo 1,200, 1.2 tons, na hiyo ni carcass weight. Sasa hiyo lazima pia mimi niwafunze nyinyi, tumalize umaskini. Mirejedi mbaba sana? Umaskini naisha aje? Usingojee mtu akuja kumalizia umaskini, wewe ndio utaanza kujimalizia hiyo umaskini, na ukuwa na good policies ambayo inasaidia wafugaji. Ukiona wakati mbuzi wanaletwa, hao mbuzi wengine wametoka mbali sana, wametoka mpaka Northeastern, wengine wengi wanatoka Narok County. Narok County inauza mbuzi nyingi kushinda Kajiado County, kwa sababu mmeuza mashamba yenu. Hata sisi huko tumeingia na hiyo bitia, tunauza mashamba yetu. Sasa tumesema Wamasai hatuuzi mashamba yetu tena, ama namna gani? Lazima tutumie kuweza kutafuta naye rasilimali yetu. Now, saa hii tunazungumza maneno ya economy. Mimi nataka mfungue macho yenu, wa ndugu zangu, kwa sababu mimi nitapush hii government mpaka ikuje iwasaidie Wamasai ili muweze kupata bei mzuri kwa wanyama wenyu. Na vijana, kuna pesa nyingi kwa Ministry of Agriculture, lakini Wamasai yampati. Mkipata na tuwe na kichinjio, hiyo ni tukienda kandani wakati ng'ombe inaenda kuchinjwa. Na hii ni vitu ambaye ziko Kenya. Ziko wapi? Ziko hapa Kenya. Lakini nataka kuhakikisha ya kwamba pia Kajiado County mko na yenyu. Ashimi yao ndai. Sasa lazima mchague viongozi ambaye watawaletea hiyo. Ama namna gani? Na mimi nawaambia kitu kimoja. Hii serikali miaka 2 tutahakikisha tumeilazimisha ituletee mali katika Kajiado County. Hakuna kwenda nje. Ama mnataka kwenda nje? Mnaenda nje? Ukiona wengine, hii ni mahali ambayo wanachinjia ng'ombe. Hiyo ng'ombe imewekwa hapo inachinjwa. Na utaona tu saizi haraka. Ng'ombe imekuja na unaona iko safi kabisa. Si ile kichinjio ambaye sisi tunaendanga huko, damu imejaa kila mahali, ng'ombe inamwago chini, watu wanakuwa wagonjwa. Hii ni kichinjio ile ambayo mmeona hapa, ambaye ni the most international one, ambaye iko Juja, inaitwa Juja International Slaughterhouse. Hii ndio unaona ng'ombe, utaona ng'ombe wakipanda juu huko. Wewe uliweka video mbaya bwana. Ungeweka ile ng'ombe ina bebo naye. Can you put the next one please? We need to be in a rush here kidogo. Sasa hii ndio tutahakikisha kwamba tumepata, kwa sababu Wamasai hapa Kajiado hamlimi ngano. Pesa yenu mingi ni kwa hiyo mifugo hiyo. Kuna watu ambaye kwa siku wakiuza nyama inauzwa. Mimi saa hizi nikienda kuuza nyama kilo moja nauza shilingi 6,500, 6,500. Ngalusunile uipimie nyama kilobo. Mpaka tuwafunze pia nyinyi tumalize hiyo maskini. Mnapenda hiyo? Mnapenda hiyo? Mko tayari? Kabisa. Haya. Wapi wale wa mama wengine ambaye tulikuwa tunapatia? Mimi nataka kupeana ndume nyingine moja tukiendelea. Nani wako tayari? Nataka nipeane ndume moja. Ni group gani ambaye vijana alikuwa anapeana? Alafu tuko na committee. Ile mambo ambayo tumesema juu, nataka kupatia reaction. Nataka nichague watu wachache wazungumze, si ndio? Msikie pia maoni yao. Na mimi nataka muongee Kiswahili, kwa sababu Wakenya wote saa hizi wanaangalia Sajiloni. Hata watu wa Dallas simujipigia makofi leo, mnajulikana. Kama ni kwa NTV mnaonekana. Kama ni kwa KTN mnaonekana. Kama ni kwa Sida FM mnasikizwa kila mahali. Kama ni kwa mtandao, watu wote leo Kenya yote imesimama kuangalia maelfu ya Wamasai ambaye wamekuja Sajiloni kusema tumekataa ukabila. Tumekataa umaskini. Wapi hiyo group? Aya, kuna group imetoka Kajiado West ambaye ni Alodokalani. Kuna mtu anaitwa Haron Saruni. Koreye. Wapi Haron Saruni? Kuna hii group ambayo inaitwa Ewangan na Ilepo Self Help Group. Wapi hiyo group? Mwarakishe bwana. Mimi nafikiria mnaniletea jina mtu wako hapa. Koreye. Sharon, where is that person? Ako wapi? Ukiitwa jina yako mpatia ingie. Kuja. Na ukuja na group yako. Unajua hii security imekuwa mzuri sana. Kama huyo kijana anaitwa Saruni, patia ingie. Lete yeye. Wewe, Carlos, enjo mea wole ngoni boy ene. Leteni moja hapa. Carlos, move. Muingie hapa mfunge. Wapi Mushai? Anya memea uno yu. Amade una yo. Kama ni wa nini hivyo si lazima wakae ngumu. Ngoja aletwe kidogo aone. Unajua ukienda Amerika wanaletwa hapa catwalk. Wapi mheshimiwa? Si ni kweli? They come and they catwalk here waonekani. Si maneno ya kusema ati akaone huko. Wengine watasema Ledama hakupeana. Unajua wengine wako na hiyo ukimwi kwa kichwa yao. Wanasema Ledama hajapeana. Wewe lete. Hapa wapi kamera? Angalia kamera. Angalia hapo. Kore. Wewe watu wa kamera kwa screen mweke hiyo. Weka hiyo. Wewe gure na ndo na hiyo. Merwana na ndo ngayo gure tiana kunolungu. Yeah. Wewe. Wewe fanya haraka bwana, hatuna kesho. Basi. Haya, njoo udoje ngale baragweni. Haya, ya ule ngani. Ewangan na Ilepwa Self Help Group. Ni wagani? Kujeni hapa. Come here. Kuja hapa vijana. This is a self help group. Kuja hapa. I want you to say yourself. Vijana, you are young people, si ndio? Nataka mseme nyinyi kina nani. Na kitu moja nataka muache pombe. Wewe umekuja hapo ukinuka pombe wewe. Na hiyo ni tabia mbaya sana. Tunga ya naishero, mere wewe nigea itakuharibu kichwa yako na utaenda mbali. Unasikia? Mimi nataka vijana ambao wanaamuka wanaenda kutengeneza mali. Meneja, unatengeneza pesa. Aya, tell me about yourself. Niambie, mimi nashika microphone. Ushiki. Sema jina yako.
Naitwa Torres Lemeria, chairman ya vijana Kajiado West constituency.
Aya, na unaitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Rafael Kai, treasurer wa Ewangan.
Aya, na unaitwa nani?
Naitwa Daniel Diti, a member of the group.
Aya, mimi nataka kuuliza nyinyi, how old are you? 28. Na wewe? 31. Good. Na wewe? 25. When I was 30 years old, I was a millionaire. Nilipokuwa 30 years old, nilikuwa millionaire. Hii vijana nataka wawe mabilionea. Ama namna gani? Na sasa hivi ndio watafanya kazi. Na mimi nataka kuwafunza. Wacha uleteo ndume moja hapa wameshindwa kushika. Vijana wanaogopa. Wewe weka kamera hapo, weke screen hapo ndio waone. Tipika. Very good. Now I want you to listen to me. Wazungu, mheshimiwa come and help me here. Wazungu na mheshimiwa anataka akuja hapa tufanye hii kazi vizuri na yeye. Ona. Haya, ngoja tu wataona. Basi. Umeona hiyo ndume, mnalete mpaka hapa. Simama hivi ndio uonekane na kamera. Mheshimiwa, wazungu wako na kitu inaitwa artificial insemination. Artificial insemination, empira itumiai. Empira itumiai. Ng'ombe mingi zinazalishwa na nini? Na mpira. Leo mimi nataka kuambia vijana, hii ndume imetoka kwa ng'ombe zangu. Nimeomba bibi ruhusa ndio ikuje hapa. Hii ndume sio uende tu atuweke kwa ng'ombe yako. Hii ndume unatakiwa uifanye duka. You have to turn this bull into your shop. Ukienda kwa mheshimiwa hapa, kama ako na ile ng'ombe ile mbegu mbaya, unaambia mheshimiwa uko na ng'ombe ngapi nataka mwanaume? Anakuambia niko na ng'ombe ngapi? 20. Sisi tunalipanga shilingi 5,000 kwa mpira moja. Sasa wewe unasema uko na ng'ombe 20 haya, mheshimiwa, leta 1,100. Yo ndume inaenda nakaa huko siku 3 inazalisha hiyo ng'ombe yote, uko na 1,100. Unaenda kwa mheshimiwa mwingine. Mheshimiwa Keseba, ni kweli, hebu ambia hao hivi vitu tunafanyanga aje?
Ni kweli, hiyo program ya insemination, that's how it normally works.
Unasikia?
And also breeding. Ni kweli huwa iko namna hiyo. So hawa vijana wajiweke bidii sana na muhakikishe mumeshika. Unajua umepewa starting capital. Starting capital for your work. And let this be the difference. Kwa hivyo na wale watu wanaishi hapo karibu na wewe waelezee kwamba umepata hii bull so that they can also take.
Nimekuja. Haya kuja. Mbona mwa baraka. Shika kichwa.
So it's very good.
Hoja shika, hoja nikuja nikuoneshe venye nachukulia yangu. Ile bia. Bonga. Pole. Bonga. Ngoja kidogo. Ngoja kidogo. Haya, tungai dine. Wacha hapo. Buanga. Haya. Ja rinyo. Wacha itoke. Haya, wacha irudi. Wacha. Tungai. Ya salari. Imepanda juu. Wewe join na mguu mwingine wewe. Chunga bwana. Haya, tungai si, hebu angalia si. Haya. Anda. Tungai. Wewe tungai. Wacha. Tungai. Enua. Haya, inaogopa kutoka kwa sababu yuko peke yake. Sawa. Ende kwa lama. Weka. Ende kwa lama. Wacha naye. Wewe wanga. Tungai. Teri nyo. Bas. Haya, tungai da. Bas. Tungai. Haya, tokeni hapa wenyi. Nyinyi ndio mmejaa wengi sana. Vijana enda mweke alama. Asante. Pigieni vijana makofi, wamepata ndume yao. Mheshimiwa, sio biashara ni mzuri? Hebu tuambie hawa wenyewe biashara ni mzuri?
Wenyewe Senela Ledama, this is a very good idea. Ako na maoni mzuri. It's very genuine.
Simpigie Ledama makofi sasa basi.
Hii ni kazi ya empowerment. Showing by example, kuonyesha mfano wa empowerment. Ukipatia vijana hii bull, and then of course they waanze hiyo program ya breeding ama ya kusalisha, ni mzuri kabisa. Enyewe the idea is genuine.
Very good.
The idea is genuine.
Thank you very much.
You keep doing it.
Mheshimiwa, we have another group.
Hii idea ya America sometimes
ni mzuri sana.
Watu waelewi. Lakini ni nzuri sana.
Hao wanapiga siasa tu ya vijiji. Kijiji. Sisi maoni yetu ni ya kupeleka jamii wapi? Mbele. Ama namna gani? Tunapeleka jamii wapi? Mbele. Na tutafanya hivyo tukanyange umaskini chini. Ama namna gani? Hebu niambie kama umechoka na umaskini. Sema tumechoka na umaskini. Tunataka kwenda mbele. Haya, hii kijana kutoka Purko wako hapa? Purko Youth Group wako hapa? Naona ama wapi Hildamat Youth Alliance? Wapi Hildamat Youth Alliance? Kujeni hapa. Come here, young men. Na ninaona yuko na msichana. Huyu ni wa Purko, si ndio? Wewe ni Purko. Tutaanza na Purko. Now, unaona, I have told you, I need you know your names. Simama hapa. Wapi wa Hildamat kwanza? Enda mbele. Simama mbele. Hildamat wako wapi? Hapo. Wapi youth? Wapi Purko? Nyinyi ni Purko. Wapi Hildamat? Haya, tumaliza na Purko. Haya, ngoja. Unajua time tuko naye. Now, listen. Mimi nataka vijana mseme, wewe unaitwa nani? Wewe uko na miaka ngapi? Na umetoka wapi?
Mimi naitwa Felix. Nimetoka Purko. Niko na miaka 28 na tumefurahi kwa mtendo wako.
Asante.
Naitwa Fred, Narolo Levere. Nara 25 years.
Very good. Huyu anaitwa Pere, 25 years. Wapi ile microphone nyingine? Lete ile mic nyingine. Mheshimiwa, nakupatia tena. Na wewe unaitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Aliakanko, Purko, Organized Secretary.
Haya, na wewe unaitwa nani?
Agnes Sipei, Finance Controller, 24 years.
Huyu anaitwa Agnes Sipei, she's a Finance Controller, 24 years old. Na wewe?
Milton Saitoti, 25 years, Vice Chairman.
Kwa hii Purko. Na wewe?
Melvin Saipi, Chairman, Purko Youth Alliance.
Aya, simama hapa. Na nyinyi ni Purko wa Ngaroni ama Purko wa Mosiro? Purko wa nini? Wa Ngaroni. Nani anajua Ngaroni mahali iko? Mnajua mahali Ngaroni iko? Yololo kuna ngara? Mnajua hao? Tupatie hao ndume waende wafanyie biashara. Hebu muinue mkono kama mnataka tupatie hao ndume. Si nyinyi ndio mmepatia hao? Nao nataka munisikize vizuri. This is very serious. Hii kazi ya umaskini inaisha hapa. Hii ndume itawapatia pesa nyingi if you follow my instructions. Ukizunguka huko Ngaroni, unaona ile ng'ombe ambayo iko hapo ni ile ya zamani. Ungia kwa maboma, ambia mzee, wewe uko na ng'ombe ngapi hapa? Kwa sababu basi wa Maasai wako chini kidogo, lipisha hao shilingi 3,000. Badala waende walipe shilingi 250 kununua ndume moja. Ama namna gani? Si kwa hivyo sawa? Sio ni mzuri? Aya, mnasema nini? Sipei ongea. Na mimi naona you are the only lady hapa. Imekuaje? Aya, ongea.
Na wasalimu nyote kwa jina la Yesu. Habari zenu? Nanu Reji Sipei, nikingwa Purko. Tumekuja kushuhudia kazi hii mzuri ambayo mheshimiwa wetu seneta ametufanyia. Na tumesema asanti. Kama youth Purko tuko pamoja na Ledama na tunaenda kufanya kazi ambayo ametuambia. Endogi naira na Purko maingurara bogi ni loingoni amu me youth agishogi kage ngishu.
Anasema hiyo ndume si wa youth peke yake wamepatio. Ni watu wote wa Purko wa Ngaroni. Si ndio?
Na jogi ndaya ngirengi nana lebo na yewa atua Purko mara mwena.
Wamesema achunga kabisa kwa sababu ndio imekuja kwao na ndio wapatia pesa.
Na jogi yoga gerunga yogi resiadi.
Wamasai nyinyi ndio mwacho peke yake nyuma tubadilike.
Wamasai ni akidoli shangararo legai.
Unaona Masai ndiye anabishana na mwingine tu.
Kama na gajo mabungana boisho.
Naomba tushike umoja.
Maro nyorara.
Tupendane.
Na nagare losholo Masai dugoya.
Ndio tuweze kupeleka Masai mbele.
Ora gabiting siasa na jogi lariko
mara na mara. Siasa ni shida. Wacha tufanye nini tuinue ama namna gani?
Na wapenda wote.
Asante sana.
Marama yenanda.
Sio ni mzuri? Haya, Purko endeni mchague ndume yenu huko muende naye. Wapi Hilda Youth Alliance? Wako wapi hawa?
I'm not here for my glory, fame, or praise, but to tell of the one who just defeated the grave.
Tao mbao mbao, beba wewe, tao mbao mbao.
Yeah, mbao mbao tao, mbao mbao tao. Tumekama hapa kuongelea fundi wa mbao. Wow. Sing a new song unto the Lord in the presence of his congregation. And I believe God amenipatia gift ya ku write music, and not just music, but biblical sound, lyrical theology, yenye iko relevant kwa generation yetu.
I tell you, the power of the cross is enough to save this generation.
Oh,